Good morning from wherever you're watching this live broadcast from. You're watching the live proceedings of the National Assembly being Wednesday, October 6, 2021. We are glad you're watching. And remember, this broadcast is brought to you courtesy of the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in collaboration with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. You can follow up on these proceedings also on our YouTube channel, on KBC Channel 1, also on Parliament of Kenya. My name is Gladys Mungai, and I'll be taking you through the highlights in the order of business this morning. Members of Parliament are set to conclude on debate on two bills. The first bill is by Honorable Rahim Dawood on the Kenya Deposit Insurance Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 43 of 2020. And the second bill is on the Kenya Food as well as Drugs Authority Bill, Bill number 31 of 2019 by Member for Endebess, Honorable Robert Pukose. After the conclusion of debate on those particular bills, members will proceed to vote for those bills. The Committee of the Whole will be considering the Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2019 by Honorable Wafula Wamunyinyi. And there will be resumption of debate that was interrupted on the 29th of September during a morning sitting on the Employment Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 79 of 2019 by Honorable Gideon Keter. The Pensions Amendment Bill is currently in its second reading, and members will be deliberating on that particular bill, as well as the National Construction Authority, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2020. Also lined up for debate is the Health Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2021 by Honorable Mwambu Mabonga. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Orders number 42A subsection 5, a couple of members of Parliament will be asking questions for reply before various departmental committees. Member for Tigania East, Honorable Josephat Kabebea, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for devolution what measures the ministry has put in place to ensure that residents living in the arid as well as semi-arid areas in Tigania East constituency who are on the verge of starvation, this is due to the ongoing drought, are urgently supplied with relief food as well as water. That question by Honorable Member for Tigania East will be replied before the Departmental Committee on Matters Administration as well as National Security. Member for Westlands, Honorable Timonyonyi, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Education to provide details on all the agreements, contracts, as well as memoranda entered into the books with publishers for the distribution as well as supply of textbooks for secondary as well as primary schools, and the schedules of payments made into each publisher with respect to the financial year 2019-2020. The business of the House is just about to commence with the entry of the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Moses Cheboy. I'll now be handing you over for the live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing. Good morning.
Tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umeteua nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawali wa haki wa wanadamu, twakusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita ili tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri hii yetu. Twakuomba ututeremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa, na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako ziendelezwe, na ili kustawisha amani, fanisi na ili ya nchi hii yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Honorable members, we are slightly short of the numbers required to start business, and therefore I order the bell to be rung for 10 minutes.
The Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, who is currently presiding over this morning sitting, has requested that the bell be rung for 10 minutes. This is to allow for more members to access the chamber. As it stands, the House doesn't have the requisite numbers to proceed with its business. Member for Westlands, that is Honorable Tim Wanyonyi, will equally be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Education to explain the criteria informing the frequency of the supply of textbooks to a particular secondary school or primary school. And could the Cabinet Secretary explain the Ministry's policy? This is in regards to the choice of a particular textbook, its usage in schools, editorial, and the review by independent education experts. Member for Westlands will lastly be seeking answers from CS Magoha to provide a schedule of expenditure for the 22,000 per secondary school student capitation funds, enumerating the amounts directly disbursed to each school. This is per constituency, as well as the percentage set aside for the textbooks and learning material per student. His questions will be replied before the Departmental Committee on Matters Education and Research. Nominated member, Honorable David Ole Sankok, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of the National Government to provide specific details of the parcel of land. This particular land is located in Laikipia County, which Honorable Member claims it's owned by the Deputy President during his appearance before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security on the 1st of September. And this also includes the land reference number, size, date, as well as acquisition and the previous ownership of the parcel of land. Questions by Honorable David Ole Sankok will be fielded to the Committee on Administration and National Security. Member for Dagoretti South, Honorable John Kiarie, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Labour to confirm whether Scan Group Company, which in full service, creation as well as transformation company engaged in marketing, communication, brand stewardship, media investment management, and consumer research complies with labor laws as well as regulations in its operations. And could the Cabinet Secretary explain why that particular company has been replacing majority of Kenyans' top creative staff and replacing them with foreign personnel from the Indian-based firm known as Mystic Monks since the onset of COVID-19 pandemic? And what measures the ministry is taking in place against the leadership of the firm for the injustice against the affected Kenyan personnel? Lastly, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why the said publicly listed company has been allowed to fraudulently engage as well as retain foreigners for decades and undertake work that can effectively be handled by Kenyan professionals, and while at the same time placing its local staff under strenuous as well as inhumane working conditions, including working overnight and without compensation? Questions by Honourable Member for Dagoretti South will be replied before the Departmental Committee on Labour and Social Welfare. Member for Kinango, Honourable Benjamin Tayari, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Energy to explain why defective transformers and damaged electricity poles, this is in various areas of Kinango constituency, are yet to be replaced. This is despite numerous calls to have them replaced. And when will the said transformers as well as electricity poles be replaced to avoid perennial interruptions of power in the constituency? Questions by Member for Kinango, Honorable Benjamin Tayari, will be fielded before the Departmental Committee on Energy. Pursuant to the standing orders of the National Assembly, standing orders number 35, subsection 1 on quorum, the standing orders allow the Speaker that when a member objects there is no quorum present, the Speaker or the Chairperson shall continue to count members in the House as well as in the committee, as it is in the case. And currently, what is happening on the chamber is that various members continue to stream into the chamber to allow the House to have the requisite quorum to commence its business this morning. If the Speaker is in the chair, and the Speaker shall adjourn the House until the next sitting in the event the quorum has not been achieved. That is upon the expiry of 10 minutes and further 5 minutes to allow for more members to access the chamber. A lot of bills will be entering and continuing for deliberations as they are in the second reading stage, pending the third stage. And Sergeant Atam has just signaled that quorum has been achieved into the House, and I'll now be handing you over for the live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing. Good morning.
Order, members. Order. Now you can take your seats. Now that we have the required quorum, we will start business.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Order, members. Take your seats. Member for Tharaka, take your seat. I said member for Tharaka Nithi. The entire county. All right. Honorable members, understanding order 2252 requires that the Speaker to report to the House any petitions other than those presented by a member. Further, Article 119 of the Constitution provides for the right of any member to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority, including petitioning the House to enact, amend, or repeal any legislation. In this regard, honorable members, I wish to report to the House that my office has received a petition signed by Mr. Divyesh I. Patel of National Identification Number 8752685 on behalf of Equip Agencies Limited, care of PO Box 18093 00200 Nairobi. The petitioner is concerned that the Ministry of Health has violated the company's rights by refusing to pay the company for supply of anti-malarial equipment and drugs made between 1995 and 1997. The petitioner avers that on 14th July 1995, Equip Agencies Limited entered into a lawful supply contract with the Ministry of Health on behalf of the Government of Kenya to supply anti-malarial drugs and equipment for a contract period tenable until June 1997. On the basis of the said contract, Equip Agencies Limited promptly delivered the goods as per specifications set out in the supply contract, and all deliveries were acknowledged by the various officials from the Ministry of Health. Honorable members, the petitioner avers that during the contract period, the company supplied anti-malarial equipment and drugs amounting to Kenya shillings 1,157,846,150,000 to various government institutions in the country. According to the petitioner, the Ministry of Health went ahead to renege on its contractual obligations and is yet to pay the company a single dime for the supplies made since 1995, despite the numerous follow-ups over the past 20 years. This has adversely affected the company's financial sustainability, given that it had legitimate expectation to recover the money used to source for the supplies upon being paid by the government. The petitioner states that the company sought to redress in the High Court to compel the government to pay the money, and in December 2011, the High Court awarded the company $1,862,302,792.50 plus compound interest of 18% per annum. He affirms that even though the government contested the award in the Court of Appeal, in December 2017, the Court of Appeal upheld the decision by the High Court and issued orders of mandamus compelling the Principal Secretary, Ministry of Health, to pay Equip Agencies Limited sum of Kenya shillings 1.8 billion 662,302,792,000 and 18% interest accrued from March 1999. Honorable members, the petitioner claims that the Ministry of Health defied the decrees of both High Court and the Court of Appeal, and therefore, the decretal amount had risen to over 80 billion as at February 2020. The petitioner claims that in a bid to settle the matter amicably, the company voluntarily negotiated with the Ministry of Health, the National Treasury, and the Office of the Attorney General, and offered an irreducible sum of Kenya shillings 15.25 billion plus costs, down from the decretal amount of 80 billion due to the decree holder. To the petitioner's astonishment, even after the company sacrificing to waive 65 billion odd debt, the government neither accepted the offer nor demonstrated commitment to conclude the negotiations, which threw the fate of the said payment in abeyance. The petitioner asserts that the government's refusal to pay the debt is a blatant affront to the company's right and has continued to expose the proprietors to uncertainty and bankruptcy. He adds that the company has since suffered irreparable financial harm and is incapable of bankrolling its operations and meeting its tax obligation, which is in arrears of 3.6 billion, including penalties. The petitioner has clearly demonstrated that the company's assets currently listed for auction by financial lenders who are demanding repayment of loans and interest accrued on loans that the company borrowed to procure and deliver goods to the Ministry of Health, and threat of collapse is imminent. In addition, the company is unable to pay its overseas suppliers credit totaling to 9 billion. The petitioner is therefore concerned that if the matter is not immediately resolved, Equip Agencies Limited risks being rendered insolvent, yet the company supported the government's initiative to make Kenya a malaria-free country by supplying anti-malarial equipment and drugs in good faith. Honorable members, the petitioner is seeking the intervention of the National Assembly as a company's last resort to 1. Inquire into the matter raised by the petitioner with a view of establishing circumstances under which the Ministry of Health has, for over 25 years, refused to pay Equip Agencies Limited for goods supplied as per supply contract of 14th July 1995, in spite of having acknowledged receipt of the goods that met the specifications of the contract. 2. Intervene to cause the Ministry of Health and the National Treasury to pay Equip Agencies Limited the sum of Kenya shillings 80,522,464,880,000 being the principal debt owed since 1995, interest and cost thereof as decreed by the High Court in 2011 and upheld by the Court of Appeal in 2017. 3, recommend, if necessary, budgetary allocation to the Ministry of Health to settle the decretal amount owed to the equipped agencies limited as debt, cost, and interest accrued thereof at the earliest opportunity. And 4, make any other recommendations it deems fit in securing the petitioner's property and economic rights. Honorable members, having determined that the matters raised by the petitioners are well within the authority of the House, I order that pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 2271, this petition be committed to the Departmental Committee on Health. The committee is required to consider the petition and report its finding to the House and to the petitioner in accordance with Standing Order 2272. I thank you. Members, I see there is quite some number of members who want to speak to this. Unfortunately, I'm not able to pick because the interventions are 18. That tells you there are about roughly 18 members who wants to speak to this particular one. I do not know if Honorable Murugara wants to speak to this one or the other one.
To speak on this.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when I was in active practice, I used to represent Equip Agencies Limited, and I used to do their debt collection. A company that has done great supplies to many entities in the country, and it has been quite around for a while. It is extremely unacceptable for the government to fail to satisfy even judgments that are passed against it. We know under the Government Proceedings Act, we cannot attach the property of the government. But instead of the government enjoying that privilege it has been given by the law, it is actually abusing it by not honoring judgments. As we speak today, the unsatisfied judgments against the government are about to hit $1 trillion. This House has actually been allocating money so that most of those judgments are satisfied. But the Treasury, as usual, has been knocking off whatever provision the House makes so that the judgments remain unsatisfied. It is the high time we as a House, first and foremost, considered whether we should amend the Government Proceedings Act and expose the government to the remedy of execution by way of attachment. Today, what we do is if you have judgment against the government, you have to go through the whole process of mandamus, notices to show cause, and to some extent, even where PSs are summoned to court to explain why they are not satisfying judgments, they simply don't appear. Warrants of arrest are issued against them, and the Inspector General of Police will simply not execute it. It's like they are telling the court, what are you going to do if we do not satisfy the judgment? It is the high time we actually woke up to say and stand with Kenyans.
Now you see the Honorable Murugara, you have debated. You have the opportunity to go before the committee. Yes. You are supposed to make some few comments.
Thank you.
Not more than a minute, really.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
You have already finished yours.
Just trying to say, as I conclude, it is the high time we actually, as a House, stood up with Kenyans so that their judgments against the government are satisfied. And this petition is actually timeless, and we should help this company recover its money. Thank you very much.
Honorable Member for Nandi Hills.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support that petition, and I want to say that it is very unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that some government officials don't respect the rule of law. It is important to treat the court orders with respect. Court orders are not opinions or suggestions. They are court orders in itself, and it should demand every state officer who has sworn, who has taken an oath of office to respect the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, it is very unfortunate that some investors are trying to support government in some cases, but the government is not in itself supporting them. And that is the reason why in Africa, or even Kenya, we are failing. Because unless there is law and order, there is no investor that can invest, because the confidence will be lost. The reason why we are not same as Dubai or many other countries which are now first world, with no resources. They have no tourism. I mean, they have no wildlife to attract tourism. The tourism that is there is artificial, because there is good leadership, there is law and order, and that is the only thing that we need to bring on board. If we mean...
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then we go to Honorable Majimbo Kalasinga.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, please relax. I'll give quite a number of members, because I think this is the only petition we have this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if this trend should be capped and be controlled, Mr. Speaker. If we allow this movement around, Mr. Speaker, and disturbing very good companies that have won contracts and performed, Mr. Speaker, we shall discourage investors in this country. I believe, Mr. Speaker, that this trend, Mr. Speaker, is leading to some banks auctioning very good companies that have done business with the government. Mr. Speaker, I support this petition because for once, it's going to bring sanity, Mr. Speaker. Even not only national governments, Mr. Speaker, even some county governments, Mr. Speaker, it has the same problems, and therefore, Mr. Speaker, this petition is quite in order before us.
Okay. Honorable Sankok.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, this House must rise to the occasion and support Kenyans investors, Honorable Speaker. We cannot allow the government to steal from Jack Bone. We cannot allow the government to steal from COVID-19 dying patients, Honorable Speaker, in the name of COVID billionaires, and allow the same government to kill local business, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, these businesses are employing a lot of Kenyans. They are paying a lot of taxes, Honorable Speaker. And now the government does not even obey court orders when they are supposed to pay this equip company agencies limited, Honorable Speaker, its dues. We as a House must rise and force the government to pay that in totality, the 80 billion that is owed to the company, Honorable Speaker. These companies have confidence in Kenya, unlike other companies or other individuals who take our money into offshore accounts, Honorable Speaker. They have decided to invest in this country, Honorable Speaker. And if they have decided to invest in this country, they are paying taxes, they are employing Kenyans. Okay. What is the offshore accounts doing to Kenyans? They are not paying taxes, they are not employing Kenyans, Honorable Speaker. Their government must pay.
Your minute is gone. Honorable Member for Kiminini.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I want to empathize with the equipped agencies, Mr. Speaker. It's very, very unfortunate. Article 10 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, outlines the national values and principles of governance. And under A, there's rule of law. The government is obligated to obey court orders, Mr. Speaker. And we are calling upon the relevant minister, Mr. Speaker, to move with speed and settle this amount to these equipped agencies. And Mr. Speaker, as you committed it to the relevant committee, it is important, Mr. Speaker, that the Committee of Budget should also get involved in this matter so that the matter can be sorted out amicably, bearing in mind, Mr. Speaker, the time value of money. Looking at that time, Mr. Speaker, and in this country we still have problems with malaria. It is still #1 killer, particularly in pregnancy and children under 5 years. And equipped agencies, Mr. Speaker, it has been demonstrated, he had supplied the goods and they were given satisfaction in terms of the specification. So it is important that the government of Kenya must move with speed, Mr. Speaker. If it were KEMSA billionaires, we already told they were being paid, and it was just the other day, Mr. Speaker. So why is it that equipped agencies, which did business 1995 up to now, it has not been settled? We want this matter to be solved once and for all, Mr. Speaker, and the Committee of Health and the Committee of Budget move with speed, and we need that report on the floor of the House. I thank you.
Okay, Honorable Mwadime.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support the petition. Mr. Speaker, actually, this is the time round. We should bring sanity to such kind of complaints. You know, self-interest, because just as Kimilili MP has said, KEMSA the other day paid our own money. But this investor from 1997, it's a long time. Mr. Speaker, and such kind of complaints, there are many. It's high time we bring sanity to such kind of petitions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Honorable Pukose.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, listening to the petitioner since 1995 and having gone through the court process, the High Court, the Court of Appeal, having upheld that he supplied lawfully to the Ministry of Health, I think it is very unfair to the government to dilly-dally with paying equip agencies. Honorable Speaker, we've seen recently people supplying KEMSA, and they are paid promptly. And the same people end up even transferring that money to either Panama or the British Islands. Mr. Speaker, I think this government is an embarrassment. It should take responsibility and pay equip. Honorable Speaker, I think when the committee is making the report, we would want that the Ministry of Health in its items budget before in the next approval should have money for equip agencies. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, Honorable Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support that petition, but I want to seek that we have an approach in terms of policy on two issues. One, the issue of court orders, Honorable Speaker. As the committee investigates, let also the Committee on Budget and Committee on Finance jointly come up with a policy on how to pay court orders which are already pending before various committees, various ministries. Also, the issue of pending bills, Honorable Speaker, let it be a policy. Let's also have a document to at least suggest how are we going to pay all pending bills. When this is just one who has gone to court, but there are so many, Honorable Speaker, some have already died, some have been auctioned, and yet they supply the government. So it's important we have a policy on that matter. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
As I give other members, I think the last two members have contributed in in a line that is acceptable, where they are asking the specific committee to add a few things to their investigation. Some members here are actually speaking directly as if we are already in the Committee of Health. So as I give you an opportunity, honorable members, please, let's see what we can do to add value to what the departmental committee will be doing. So let's have Honorable Cheptumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, from 1995 to 2021, that is 27 years, Mr. Speaker, moving closer to 30 years. And Mr. Speaker, it is clear that this money really is due to equip agencies. I acted for this institution, Mr. Speaker, when I was practicing law. And Mr. Speaker, when I was chairing the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, this issue of pending bills, Mr. Speaker, has really been a major discussion we had as a committee. And I think we need to look at this thing nationally. Mr. Speaker, Kenyans are really suffering. As we address the equip agencies claim, Mr. Speaker, it is important for, and I even propose the Solicitor General, Mr. Speaker, should be called upon to come before this committee and be able to share the billions and billions. Mr. Speaker, from where I sit now, I think Kenyans are hold close to 1.3 trillion Kenya shillings, Mr. Speaker. So it is a bigger issue. This is just one. And I want to support the proposal that, Mr. Speaker, the Budget Committee, the one for Justice, and even the one for should be able, Mr. Speaker, to come together and address this issue. Mr. Speaker, finally, the President for many occasions has been making public announcements that there is need to settle in public and pending bills. But, Mr. Speaker, it is a declaration that has never been complied with. It is important, Mr. Speaker, the government speaks and acts in terms of those issues they have agreed to do. So, Mr. Speaker, I support the petition, and I want to propose that equip agencies be paid the 80-something billion. Mr. Speaker, look at even the situation where
that should be enough.
Where, Mr. Speaker, they should have been able to save government.
Okay, that is okay. Honorable Atandi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in supporting this petition. And Honorable Speaker, I want to say that when you supply government and the government fails to pay you, and you seek for justice in court, and again in court you win, and again the government fails to pay you, I think that is really like murder. You have been murdered by your government. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that it is immoral, it is bad, it is criminal for government to fail to pay a supplier for over 25 years. I want to say that this particular matter, I'm aware of it because my colleague spoke to me about it. And I want to say that this House must reign on ministries in the area of pending bills.
Okay.
Because Honorable...
You are finalized, so let's go to the member for Imenti South, Honorable Gaduri. Order, Honorable Dawood. I know there are many Imentis, but the one I've given opportunities, the Honorable Gaduri.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. But before I execute my support, I want to really, I'm really surprised because the member, Honorable Atandi Singh, has been briefed about this petition by colleagues in this House. So is it predetermined or it's something which has come through the back door and members are already aware of this petition, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, I think that is not in order as a House. It's not in order to bring petitions which are already determined by members. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that the Committee on Health, Mr. Speaker.
Let's stop there, Honorable Member for Imenti.
Now let me make my comment.
You're having a problem with the source of information that Atlantic gets. Really, as far as I'm concerned, that has nothing to do with the committee. Colleagues can discuss amongst themselves. I mean, the matter is here. I don't think there's anything untoward on that direction. So you should have gone to your comments. Now you see, you must choose sometimes whether you want to do the intervention or the other. But I give you your time anyway. But for members, please contribute.
Okay,
to this.
Mr. Speaker, I want to say that there must be a reason why this contract was not paid. And I will request the Committee on Health to really look into these details. How is the contractual arrangement? How was the procurement done? There must be a reason why the ministry officials did not pay. There are so many other contracts, especially the lease equipments, which were clandestinely awarded some people, and still the Treasury is really suffering, struggling to pay those tenders, Mr. Speaker. So the committee should do their work thoroughly. They should also summon the AG, if possible, so that they can really determine the real position of this matter.
So then, of course, I go to the Honorable Lago Oluoch.
Mr. Speaker, it's Olago Oluoch. Oluoch is another one. Mr. Speaker, I hear members...
I am extremely sorry, Senior. The problem is from our orientation, we have always been brought up to imagine that when you start with an A, it is the other gender. That is my small problem, but if you say it is Oluoch, I am happy with it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to assure you, Mr. Speaker, that I am not the other gender. Mr. Speaker, I hear members lamenting about what needs to be done. But I want to say this. As long as we have the Government Proceedings Act in the way it is in Kenya, our ministries will continue with impunity to disregard court judgments, whether they come from the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal or the High Court. Because in other countries where there are similar provisions, Mr. Speaker, those governments honor court judgments and they pay. In Kenya, they do not. Mr. Speaker, in the 10th Parliament, I brought amendments to the Government Proceedings Act. It was what I thought was very wise to do. But the AG had a long meeting with me, 3 meetings in fact, and pleaded that if those amendments were approved by the House, then the government would be bankrupted. I slowed down. I think the time has now come for this House, or one of us, I will do it myself if need be, look at the Government Proceedings Act once again and amend it in a way that can offer some protection to the ministries, but at the same time, give Kenyans who have court judgments the capacity to attach government assets if necessary. Mr. Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues this morning that as we leave this in the hands of the Health Committee, let the Budget Committee look at it, also our committee, Justice and Legal Affairs, to look at it and find out if it is possible to amend that act.
Okay. Dr. Teglatum.
Honorable Speaker, I stand to support this petition. The contractor was gave malarial and malarial equipment in 1995 at 1 billion. Honorable Speaker, in 2021, it is 80 billion. The government should pay because the High Court awarded the contractor to be paid in 2011. So this money is accruing an interest of 18% every year. The President gave a directive that all pending bills should be paid. Even in the counties, Honorable Speaker, there should be prompt payment, and the counties should receive their money because there are quite a number of contractors who have taken loans in our counties. And Honorable Speaker, they are stressed because their plots, their chambers are being sold because the government uses the people to provide, to keep, but they are not being paid. Honorable Speaker, let this person be paid the 15 billion. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Adagala Kahai. Order. Who is this? Take your seat. Yes. Who is that?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, also for giving me this chance also to talk on this petition. I want to support it, Mr. Speaker, sir. Our people are suffering because of tenders not being paid on time, and this is extending even up to counties whereby pending bills is a big problem, and also not following court orders. We've had several court orders, both county government and the national governments, that are not being followed. This one, Mr. Speaker, sir, it's actually discouraging investors from investing in this country. If somebody can supply that amount of money to the government, and it takes almost 30 years, he has not been paid, what do you expect? Surely, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay.
The Minister of Health, Budget Committee and Health.
That's okay now. Maybe last, Honorable Kiaria. I'm trying now to, I think we have taken enough time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I rise to boldly say that this House can do more than just read from the Book of Lamentations, Mr. Speaker. My bills to this petition are that as the committee is prosecuting this matter, the committee should also look for provisions in law that we should amend, or new laws that we should create, so that we are able to set personal culpability on individuals, because the government is a faceless agency. People get away with this kind of stuff because government is not an individual. If a person is culpable personally, they will take it upon themselves to make sure that suppliers are paid, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
The case that we are looking at today, Mr. Speaker, is also an issue of money. This parliament, in the next budget, can actually interrogate all pending bills and set aside monies to pay these pending bills that we have been mourning about, Mr. Speaker.
All right.
In the matter that is at hand, Mr. Speaker, we realize that this company is suffering double injustice, Mr. Speaker.
That is the end of it, so let's go to the next order. Order, members. Order. I hear many members want to have one more. So I'm going to give 4 members who will speak for 30 seconds each. 30 seconds each, randomly, because there are still over 15 other interests. So let's start with the Honorable Kilonzo.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If you want to die slowly, supply national government. If you want to die quickly, supply the county government, Mr. Speaker. I support this petition, Mr. Speaker, and request that the committee come with recommendations on what we need to change under law, so that when you supply government or county governments, you get paid. Thank you.
Honorable, I'm having a problem because there are quite a number of members who have placed both directions. Now, I do not know. Honorable Agutu Abel.
Mr. Speaker, I stand to support this petition. And I will also request the committee to investigate on whether there have been previous budget allocations for the specific pending bill. And also, Mr. Speaker, I also would like to say that it's unfortunate to have a government which is meant to create jobs, that's killing jobs, a government that is supposed to support the weak, that's killing even the strong. Mr. Speaker, I support this.
Honorable Mkawale Kamoti, Honorable Kamoti.
Asante Bwana Spika, hii ni hoja muhimu na imefika wakati wake. Lazima serikali iwajibike, isifilisishe wananchi wake. Lazima serikali za kaunti pia ziwajibike. Watu wanachukua mikopo, vitu vyao vinanadiwa, baadaye hawalipwi na tunakuwa serikali ndio inafilisisha watu wake. Hii ni mbaya, serikali lazima ijipange kabla hawajafanyiwa kazi wawe na pesa. Waombe mfano wa CDF. Pesa iweko ndio kazi ifanyike, sio watoe kazi na pesa hawana.
Honorable Hassan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to support the petition. I think it is criminal, it is an abuse of power, and it is killing our entrepreneurial skills and companies. And I think the government should really look at this thing seriously, and the committee should look at it. Why do they pay international criminals like Anglo Leasing and others? And why do they want to kill our local companies and our local agents? Please, the committee, take this up very seriously and make sure that these companies are paid on time.
Thank you. Next order. Next order. Sorry, members, those who have not spoken, sorry.
Order number 5, papers.
Under this particular order, we have the majority whip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the leader of the majority party, Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, October 6th, 2021, this morning sitting. 1. Annual report and financial statements of the Power of Mercy Advisory Committee for the financial year 2020-2021 from the Office of the Attorney General and Department of Justice. 2. The annual report for the financial year 2020-2021 from the Public Service Commission. 3. Reports of the Auditor General and financial statements.
Members, please, members who are leaving, kindly give time to the members here. There are quite a number of very serious matters to be transacted this morning. Putting of the questions of 2 bills and the sugar bill.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. 3. Reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect of the following constituencies. For the financial year, for the year ended 30th June 2019, and the certificates therein: A. Msambweni; B. Kisauni; C. Mbeere North; D. Igembe Central; E. Mwea; F. Isiolo South; and G. Likoni. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Under this particular one, we will start with questions, and starting off is the Honorable Josephat Kabeabea, member for Tigania East.
Thank you, Speaker. I stand to ask question number 387 of 2021, and it is in regard to biting drought situation, which has made very many families to stay without food, and many school children not able to learn because of starvation. So I ask,
now,
what measures as the ministry
and any other member who wants to ask a question, please ask the question. The rest you can do it at the committee, the other issues. So proceed to the question straight, Honorable Kambiabe.
Noted, Honorable Speaker. What measures has the ministry put in place to ensure that the residents living in arid and semi-arid areas of Tigania East constituency who are in the verge of starvation due to the ongoing drought are urgently supplied with relief food and water? Thank you, Speaker.
Next is the member for Westlands, Honorable Anyonyi. Sorry, that one is to be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Administration, National Security. So go to the next one. That's by Honorable Anyonyi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I ask question number 392 of 2021 to the Cabinet Secretary of Education, Mr. Speaker. Question number 1, could the Cabinet Secretary provide details of all agreements, contracts, or memoranda entered into with book publishers for the distribution and supply of textbooks to secondary and primary schools, as well as schedules of payments so far made to each publisher with respect to the financial year 2019-2020 and the current financial year. Question number 2, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the criteria informing the frequency of supply of textbooks to a particular secondary school or primary school? Question 3, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the ministry's policy regarding choice of a particular textbook, its usage in schools, editorial, and review by independent education experts? And question number 4, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a schedule of expenditure for the Kenya shillings 22,000 per secondary school student capitation funds, enumerating the amounts directly disbursed to each school per constituency and a percentage set aside for textbooks and learning material per student? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. That will be committed to the Departmental Committee on Education. Next is a member, is nominee 001, the Honorable David Olesanko.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And I rise to ask question 400 of 2021. And this question is directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, Coordination of National Government. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide specific details of the parcel of land located in Laikipia County, which he claimed is owned by the Deputy President during his appearance before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security on 1st September 2021, including the land reference number, the size, the date of acquisition, and the previous ownership. A buffoon can lie anywhere else, but we cannot allow him to lie in this honorable house under the Hansa.
Honorable Sankok,
we cannot.
Honorable
no,
Sankok,
no, no.
Honorable Sankok, you know that one you will say all you have to say at the committee level. So that one is to be replied before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. Next is the member for Dagoretti South, the Honorable KJ Kiarie.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I rise to ask question number 401 of 2021. And I want to direct this question to the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection. Mr. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary confirm whether WPP Scan Group Company PLC, which is a full-service creative transformation company engaged in marketing, communication, brand stewardship, media investment management, and consumer research, complies with labor laws and regulations in its operations? 2, Mr. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why the company has, particularly since the onset of COVID pandemic, been replacing majority of Kenya's top creative minds and staff and replacing them with foreign personnel, most who are coming from employment agencies, for example, mystic monks, and could he undertake to take action, whether legal or administrative, against the company for the injustices against the affected Kenyan personnel? 3, Mr. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why the said publicly listed company has been allowed to fraudulently engage and retain foreigners for decades to undertake work that can effectively be handled by Kenyan professionals, while at the same time placing its local staff under strenuous and inhuman working conditions, including working overnight without due compensation? Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. That one will be committed to the Departmental Committee on Labor and Social Services, and that's where it will be replied to. And honorable members, if members insist on giving some off-cuff, utterances and remarks, we might actually change the mode of asking questions, so that you'll be asking a question by stating that you're asking a question as is in the order paper. So members, please, when we give you an opportunity, just stick to what you have written. If you want to write more, please, you have you have time to do that. So please, let's be very disciplined on that. Let's have the member for Kinango, the Honorable Tayari. I'm sure the Scout KJ has heard that clearly. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask question 402 of 2021, directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Energy. 1, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why defective transformers and damaged electricity poles in various areas of Kinango constituency are yet to be replaced, despite the numerous calls to have them replaced? 2, when will the said transformers and electricity poles be replaced to avoid perennial interruptions of power in the constituency? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Energy. Now we go to the next order.
Order number 8, the Kenya Deposit Insurance Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 43 of 2020, second reading, question to be put.
Let me confirm, and can I get confirmation? Do you have enough? Just come. I'm informed that we have the required numbers. Order. So then I put the question, which is that the Kenya Deposits Insurance Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 43 of 2020, be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Kenya Deposit Insurance Act and for connected purposes.
Order, members. Order. Take your seat, please. Have you called the order?
Order number 9, the Kenya Food and Drugs Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 31 of 2019, second reading, a question to be put.
I can still confirm that we still have the numbers with us, so therefore I put the question, which is that the Kenya Food and Drugs Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 31 of 2019, be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to establish the Kenya Food and Drugs Authority to provide for the regulation and management of food, drugs, and chemical substances, to provide for the regulation of medical devices and other health technologies, to give effect to the principles and objects of devolved government in food safety, regulation, and for connected purposes.
Order.
Order number 10, Committee of the Whole House.
Okay.
I heard you from far, though you're not on record. Give me the mic. Not give me the mic.
It was me, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Kaluma.
Honorable Speaker was confirming or musing that you are as elegant as Ambassador Urie Rogomanduli, whom we are sending off. And we are grateful for that elegance, both in body and in mind, more so in mind. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well, honourable members. We are now, thank you for the comments. Now we are on the Committee of the Whole House, honourable members, and we are going to debate on the Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16, 2019.
Clause 3.
I propose the question that Clause 3 be part of the bill. Honourable members, we have no amendment to Clause 3, and I put the question that Clause 3 be part of the bill. Will as many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
I propose the question which is that Clause 4 be part of the bill. Members, we have an amendment to the bill. Can we have the chairperson move the amendment proposed? The chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker. Chair, sorry. I beg to propose as it is on the order paper. Clause 4, amendment of Clause 4, as it is on the order paper. Justification. The amendment seeks to enhance the function of the board, to enhance monitoring and compliance, and to enhance linkages with other stakeholders in the sector. And then Clause 4, the first Clause 4. Then there is Clause 4A. Are we okay?
We are on Clause 4. The Honourable Chairperson, please move your amendment. The members will take it up.
Clause 4.
Yes.
Member, it's on page 1218. On the order paper. Below. Chini. Below, sorry. Below. On the order paper. Are we together? No, in fact, sorry.
Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Chair.
Yes, yes.
I could hear Millie from far. New clauses are moved at a different points. Please just move Clause 4, the one that has an amendment. The new clauses, we usually do it.
Thank you. Justification for Clause
4.
Clause 4. That Clause 4 of the bill be amended as sub-clause 2. Is that what you are talking about?
As in the order paper,
Yes,
Honourable
as in the order paper.
Chairperson.
Are we together?
Yes. Chair, just move your...
So I continue,
Just move Clause 4, the amendments that you have, the proposed amendments. Just proposed amendment to clause 4.
As it is on the other paper.
As it
That
is
clause
on the
4
other paper.
of the bill be amended in subclause 2 by inserting the following new paragraphs immediately after paragraph M. MA, enforce and monitor compliance with standards along the sugar value chain. Then MB, facilitate value addition and product diversification in the sugar subsector. MC, formulate and implement the strategic plan for sugar subsector at least once every 5 years. And MD, formulate guidance on an efficient and economic transportation of sugar. Yes, then the justification. Is that okay? See, Meisha.
Honorable Chair, you just need to give justification the same. You're doing very well.
Okay, sorry.
Just do justification.
No, I have not even, I haven't finished. There is ME, conduct local and international sugar market intelligence and advise stakeholders accordingly. Then MF, establish linkages with various government agencies and research institutions to enhance quality assurance and research. Then the justification of clause 4.
Just move your class justification only to.
The justification clause 4 is the amendment 6 to enhance the functions of the board and to enhance monitoring and compliance to enhance linkages with other stakeholders in the sugar sector,
Very well. Honourable members, I propose a question, which is that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. The mood of the House is that I put the question. Members, I put the question. That is clause 4 be amended as is proposed by the chair. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next.
Clause 5.
I propose a question which is that clause 5 be part of the bill. Proposed amendment by the chairperson, now that you know how to do it. Give the chair the mic.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I beg to move the proposals as it is on the order paper, clause 5, that clause 5 of the bill be amended, A, in clause 1, by deleting by deleting paragraph B and substituting therefore the following new paragraph. B, yes.
Honorable Millie.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair,
request the chairman to sit.
Yeah, Chairman, just
that is the procedure of the House.
Yes.
No problem. Chair is my good friend. Chair, I just wanted to request to enable us move faster, because before we didn't know where the clauses were, but now that we found the clauses, there's no need to read for us close by close like we are nursery school kids. Just give us the justifications.
Thank you.
We already have the clause 5. We can see what it is about. Give us the justifications. For those who are not able to get it, just go online. You read Kenya National Assembly order paper. At the end of the order paper, it's there.
Millie, you've made your point, but we can be here till tomorrow to follow the procedure. Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Let the chair settle. Please allow me, give the chair time to settle. And for clarity, yeah, Honorable Chair, when you move an amendment, you must just justify it for the members to understand. And for those who do not understand, you can still clarify. Yeah, not everybody who could understand.
Thank you. Thank you very much for
Clause
that.
5. Thank you, Honorable Millie.
So I beg to move clause 5 as it is on the order paper. Then we go to the justification. Justification of clause 5. It is important to have key stakeholders in the board. New paragraph B seeks to include representative of growers from each catchment areas as members of the board. New paragraph C seeks to include a representative of the millers from each catchment area. Thank you.
Very well, members, I propose the question, which is that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chair. The member for Kiminini, Honorable Chris Amalo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Committee of the Whole House is very critical. This is where legislation takes place. And I want to differ with the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. It does not harm if the chairman, the way he was explaining, to highlight on an issue. So the issue of just saying as per the order paper at times needs some clarity. And the chair was doing very well for purposes of bringing everybody on board. Not all members have had maybe an opportunity to go through online, Madam Chair. So the chair was doing very well. Let him continue highlighting on whatever the amendment is and continue giving the justification.
Point noted.
And on that matter, Madam Chair, I support the chair what has said in terms of justification because we have different segments and it must have a full representation. So I support.
You support. Very well, let me give you one more member, the member for Mumias East, Honorable Ashiali Jomo. Ashiali Jomo is not interested in speaking to this. I give it to Koyi Waluke Sirisia.
Now I'm on. Madam Speaker, I had not received the mic. Madam Speaker, I just wanted to comment that this is a house of records. And these records, some are physical, some are unanswered. Therefore, as the chair was going through, I think I will need to support that, Madam Speaker, because then Hansard will bear as witness on the process of this bill.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well, members, allow me to put the question, which is that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Will as many as of this been say aye? Aye. And as many as of been say nay? The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 6, clause 7, clause 8, and 9.
Members, I propose a question which is clause 6, 7, 8, and 9 be part of the bill. We have no amendments to those clauses, and I therefore put the question which is clause 6, 7, 8, and 9 be part of the bill. As many as of the people say aye, and as many as the people say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 10.
I propose a question which is a clause 10 be part of the bill. We have an amendment by the chairperson.
Thank you, Chair.
You need to highlight your proposed amendments and the
Thank you. I
implication of
beg
the same.
to move the proposal as it is on the order paper, clause 10. Do I go to justifications direct? Oh, thank you. Justification. Justification for the amendment is to provide for quality of the members of the board.
Chairperson, just propose the question as it is in the order paper. As it is in the order paper.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Clause 4. I propose for proposal.
We are on clause 10, not for record.
For record purposes, sorry for that. We are in
Yes.
clause 10. I beg to propose to move clause 4 as it is in the order paper.
Clause 10, Chair.
Clause 10 as it is in the order paper. I don't know why my head is going there. That clause 10 be amended by deleting subclause 2 and substituting, therefore, the following new subclauses. 2, a person shall be qualified for appointment under the section of the person, under this section of the person, if the person holds a relevant degree from the university recognized in Kenya, B, has at least 10 years knowledge and experience from a relevant field, C, has at least 5 years experience in the position of senior management, and D, meets the provision of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Justification is to provide for qualification of board members, the board.
Very well, members, I propose that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think that is a a good provision that requires that you have people with expertise and that at least 5 of those are in senior management positions. But Chair, I want to insist that I've been here a long time. This is not the way to go at the Committee of the Whole House. If we have amendments that go to 40 pages and it reads every single line, we'll be here for 40 years. Madam Speaker, all he needs to do is say, as per the order paper, and explain, because he'll be doing the same thing twice. Otherwise, I do support. Let the majority
Liambo,
not
we've heard you,
mislead.
but that's not the procedure. I must correct you. Let the members be heard. Honorable Amelia Liambo, you are senior in your standing orders very well. Let the member be heard for justification of the members. It's a very important stage of the committee. We are making a law, and every member, as they say a yes or a no, they must be aware of what they are just putting it. Let me have the member for Enebes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me to contribute to this amendment to clause 10. I think the amendment by the member is a good amendment, considering the number of years, 5 years experience in a person for senior management position, and then holds a relevant degree. Honorable Chair, I know the member has no experience in this stage. So I think it will be good for us to take the chair slowly so that all of us can be on board. So I think we'll ask our colleague, our senior colleague, Honorable Millie, to be a little bit patient. But where he's able to say, as per the order paper, I would also want the chair, because all of us are able to read, so that we can also move with the speed. Let's accommodate each other. Thank you. Thank you.
Very well. From where I sit, please allow me give the chair some time to just plan himself. He's doing very well. We are doing very well as far as process is concerned and the procedures of the House, as far as our standing orders are concerned. Chair, please, you are protected.
Thank you.
We are making law here, and this is a very critical stage. I know Emilio Diambo wants us to move very fast, being a senior member of this House. So I put the question. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair.
The Honorable member for, and you are not on intervention. Let me have the Honorable member for Kandui.
Chair, thank you very much. I have listened to the observations, contribution by members in respect of the manner in which the Honorable Chair for Agriculture is presenting his amendments. And I think it is important for us to recognize the fact that this whole committee of the House, committee of the whole House, usually this is the time when every clause, every part of the legislation is scrutinized. It's, in other words, it's time for scrutiny of everything. So let's not hurry. I am the sponsor of this bill, Madam Chair, and I would like you to recognize that. When I put intervention, I need to get a chance. And let's allow the chair to take members through slowly. I agree with you, Madam Chair, so that everybody is on board and we don't make mistake, Chair. We make good law.
Very well.
I want to confirm that I support this proposed amendment. Thank you.
Very well, members. With that, having the sponsor of the bill, Honorable Millie, not on record, had conceded that we move. So I put the question, members, and thank you, Honorable Millie, for. I put the question, which is that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of this been say aye, and as many as of contrary been say nay? The ayes have it. Next clause. But with that, even before the next clause, please allow me give the chair good time to do his business. He's the chair for agriculture. Thank you, Chair. Clause 10.
Clause 11, 12, and 13.
Very well. Members, I propose the question with the clause 11, 12, and 13 be amended as proposed in the bill. We have no amendments to the clause, so I put the question, which is that clauses 11, 12, and 13 be parts of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of the opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 14.
I propose the question, which is clause 14, be part of the bill. Chair, please move the amendment to the clause 14.
I beg to propose the amendments as it is on the order paper, clause 14. Huh? Am I correct? Yes.
Yeah, you're on clause 14.
Yeah.
Chair.
That clause 14 be amended A in subclause 1 by inserting the words upon recommendation by the relevant county government immediately after the words board. B, by deleting subclause 2 and substituting therefore the following new subclauses. 2, a person who contravenes the provision of subsection 1 or acts in contravention of the condition of the licensing granted under this act commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 3 times the domestic value of the sugar in respect of which the offense is committed, or to a fine not exceeding 10 million shillings, whichever is higher, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years, or for both. Now, the explanation or the justification. Amendment to subclause 1 is to provide for the incorporation of the county governments to play in a role of making recommendations to the board with regard to licensing of millers. New subclause 2 is to provide a penalty for the person who carries out milling business without a license. Thank you.
Members, I propose the question with that clause 14 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. The member for Funyula. Member for Funyula.
Thank you, Chair. Just to put on record, we are here because of a process of winnowing, and most of the issues had actually been thrashed by those who are interested in making amendments. Honorable Chair, it's important that we incorporate the county governments because agriculture is a devolved function, and some aspect of the business of production and sale of sugarcane is a devolved function because some aspect of trade is a devolved function. So I support the amendment.
Very well. The last one, let me give it to the member for Igembe South. It's a very straightforward amendment. Member for Igembe South.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I support this amendment since it will curb the illegal business dealers. And Madam Chair, there will be no illegal in this business. I support.
Very well. The member for Didaret, you have a different opinion?
Not a different opinion, Honorable the Chair, but county governments are part and parcel of sugar growing in this country, and you know agriculture is devolved. So actually this clause is very important, Madam Chair. I support.
Very well. Who has a different opinion? Who has a different opinion? Honorable Sankok, you have a different opinion? Let me hear from Honorable 001 Sankok.
He's saying I'm not in the sugar belt, but there is Masai Mara, that is a Gregori's sugar factory.
What is your different opinion, please?
The different opinion is that, the different opinion is that, which license are we talking about? You know, there is a business license that is issued by county government, and the license that is issued by the national government. We must be specific on the licensing.
Very well. Honorable Sankok, there is a way out to put the question. You must request for information. But with this one, do we need license? For this one, Honorable Chair, please, can you just clarify on the stem, on the license? Otherwise, there's a process of... let the chair just be on record.
Please, because I didn't even know.
Let me have Honorable Wangwe to you.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I just want to advise Honorable Sankok that the sugar, it's being said to operate a sugar mill. So this is an operating license, Honorable Speaker. It's not anything else but to run a sugar mill, as it is in the, on page 1064 of the main bill. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. But for me to teach Honorable 001, Honorable Sankok, there's a way how you do it as a procedure of the House. If you want information, you must seek for information. Then the member will allow you, will either accept or don't accept for him to. Very well, honourable members, let me put the question for clause 14, which is that clause 14 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of these opinions say aye? And as many as the opinions say nay? There is a witness clause.
Clause 15.
I propose the question with the clause 15 be part of the bill. We have an amendment to clause 15. Chair, please. You can try to be brief on your proposed amendment and the justification, Chair.
I'll try that, but I also recommend the honourable member to read the bill because I think it explains.
No,
what
the
he was
members have
asking.
already read the bill.
Yeah, because the questions they're asking, they need to go through the bill so it makes it easier
Chair,
for us.
please,
Thank you.
just do your
I
justification.
beg to propose, as it is on the order paper, clause 15, that clause 15 of the bill be amended A, by renumbering the subclauses appearing after subclause 2 as 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. B, by inserting the new subclause immediately after the renumbered subclause 7 as follows. 8, a person shall not import or export sugar without a valid license issued by the board. Justification of the clause 15. The justification is
Chair, you can summarize your justification. I don't want to visit or revisit it. Honorable Emilio Diambos, just for you.
I think I'm even confused now.
You're a chair cannot be confused, but take your time.
Subclause 15. There was a justification. I'm missing it here.
And we are on clause 15, Chair.
Aye, here. Missing it here. It's a new clause. I think it may issue a bill, yes. May issue hapo.
Before any member can speak, please allow me propose the question, which is that clause 15 be amended as proposed in the order paper, and of course as moved by the chair. Let me have the member.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I want to support. This amendment is basic, actually it's just renumbering and adding one extra of being numbered number 8, which is that a person shall not import or export sugar without a valid license issued by the board. Madam Chair, in this country, when it comes to matters of sugar, sugar issues have been abused. It has been used to look for money for campaign. And we've seen at times when the treasury issues, at times they issue direct licenses. And what the chair is trying to emphasize here, that the license can only be issued by one and only one, which is actually the board. So basically on this amendment, it's just renumbering and re-emphasizing this number 8, which must be followed. Nobody should be allowed to import or export sugar without a license that has been issued by the board, and I support.
Thank you.
Nominated Honorable Osoti Golfi. Nominated Osoti Golfi.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, when you read the amendment, I think we need clarity there because when it refers to a license issued by the board, and when you look at the definition of a license in the bill, it refers to license issued to millers. So I think the chair needs to be very clear to us that does it therefore imply that import and export will only be done by millers? I think that's the clarification the chair needs to give us.
Very well. Chair, please, very briefly, give that clarification so that we can be able to move fast.
I think you have to be registered as it is very clear because we are trying to, what do you call it? We are trying to control how sugar is entering the country. So you have to be registered and through a procedure so that you're able to be licensed to import.
Very well. The member for Ndebes.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to support the amendment by the Chair of the Committee Agriculture, because what this amendment on clause 15 is doing is just renumbering, and then in addition to that is saying you cannot export or import without a valid license from the board. It is giving the board the power to make sure that anybody who is doing import or export must have valid license, because people might obtain licenses that are not from the board. Maybe you go to the cabinet secretary or you go to somebody else to try and get, but you must get it from the board.
Let me hear from the member of Togaren before I put the question. The member for Togaren.
I think, Madam Chair, the query from Honorable, what was his name, was about the definition of license. The definition of license in the Act, in the bill, is saying, is referring to a milling license, while in the body, we are also referring to an import license. So I think we need a consequential amendment in the definition of license. So I think when we get there, I think the chair should ensure that there's a consequential amendment.
When we get there, very well said. Very well said. Thank you. Very well said. It's a matter of procedure of the House. Very well. Yes, the Honorable Wangwe.
Just for clarity on numbering, the way it was raised earlier, and Honorable Chris addressed it, but for the purpose of record, Honorable Chair, when you look at the mother bill, number 2 has been repeated twice. So what the committee is doing is just serializing it properly. Number 2, 15, 1, 2, then again, instead of going to 3, they went to 2. So for clarity, it's just clean up.
Can we give that to the chair, the last one to speak, just to clarify the same? Is the chair of the committee. The chair, please clarify the same before I put the question.
Yeah, I think
On
very
behalf
well
of the committee.
we've been I think it is okay. We will do the definition at the end. On the yes. Yeah, because of time. But I also think it was also, as the whipper said, it's a correction of the numbering. Thank you.
Members, please allow me to put the question, which is at clause 16. 15B amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many of opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 16.
I propose the question, which is clause 16 be part of the bill. We have an amendment, please, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I beg to propose, as amended as it is in the order paper, clause 16. That clause 16 of the bill be amended by deleting subclause 2. B, inserting the following new subclauses immediately after subclause 4. 4B, in issuing certificates to registration under subsection 3, the board shall satisfy itself that the premises upon which milling may be carried out meets the environment standards set by the National Environment Management Authority, and the miller has been issued with a certificate of safety by the relevant county governments. C, inserting the following new subclauses immediately after subclause 6. 7, a person who contravenes the provision of this section commits an offense and shall upon conviction be liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years, or to a fine not exceeding 10 million shillings, or to both.
Very well, members, I propose a question, which is at clause 16.
Let me just add the justification, as somebody has said it. Justification.
Honorable Chair, please, I think now you are settled. Just
Yeah.
propose,
Justification.
just in a summary.
That's okay. That's
justify
I'm
your
actually going
input.
to I'm actually going to the summary, Chair. Thank you. Justification for the subclause 4, the subsection 6 to ensure that environment standards are adhered to by milling companies as by required by the law. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. At least now you are well. Members, I propose a question, which is clause 16B amended as proposed by the chairperson. I see the mood of those will put the question, which is a clause 16B amended as proposed by the chairperson. As many as of this, we say aye. And as many of contrapin say nay. The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 17.
I propose the question, which is a clause 17 be part of the bill. Members, we have no amendment to clause 17, and I therefore move to put the question to clause 17, which is that the clause 17 be part of the bill. As many as of the people say aye, and as many as of the people say nay. There is, next clause.
Clause 18.
I propose the question, which is a clause 18, be part of the bill. We have an amendment to clause 18. Please, Chair, move your amendment, proposed amendment. To clause 18.
Thank you. You are close. I beg to page 1227. Are we there? I beg to move the proposal as it is on order paper. Clause 18. That clause 18 be amended. A, by deleting subclause 1 and substituting therefore the following new subclauses. The Cabinet Secretary, the Cabinet Secretary may in consultation on domestic sugar and a 10% of CIF value on imported sugar to be known as a sugar development levy. B, by inserting the following new subclauses immediately after subclause 6. 7, the sugar development levy collected under subsection 2 shall be apportioned as follows. A, 15% shall be applied by the board for income or price stabilization for sugar growers. B, 20% shall be applied by the board in the furtherance or exercise of any function or power of the board. C, 20% shall be remitted directly to the institute. D, 45% shall be applied for infrastructure development in sugar subsector on pro rata basis. And 8, the funds provided for under section 7A shall be used to provide for sustainable, affordable credit and advance to farmers for all or any of the following purposes. A, farm improvement, B, farm inputs, C, farm operations, and D, price stabilization. Thank you.
Members, I propose a question which is at clause 18.
Yeah.
Justification, Chair. Please move fast and justify.
Let me.
That is the import of the whole amendment.
Sorry.
The import of the whole amendment. You can summarize from your end. For the members to understand what the.
There we are, sorry. Justification. Amendment on the justification for the amendments. Amendment of subclause 1 gives the Cabinet Secretary powers to impose the levy, domestic sugar, and the 10% of CIF value on imported sugar to be known as the sugar development levy. Let me go to the amendment to subsection 7 appropriates the sugar development levy to provide for the purpose committee amendments to cap percentage of various components. The new subclause 8 is to provide for components upon which funds under subclause 7A may be utilized. Thank you.
Very well. With that, I move to propose the question, which is at clause 18, be amended as proposed by the Chair, Agriculture and Livestock. I can see members raising. We don't do that. Let me give Honorable Emilio Odhiambo.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I wish to support at least a bulk of these amendments because one of the things that we are faced is a crisis in the sugar sector. Farmers have been suffering, and with this levies, Chair, at least we see a focus not just on the producer but the farmers as well through farm improvement, farm inputs, farm operations, and price stabilization, which is very, very welcome, and I think this is a very good amendment. I support.
Yes. Yeah, Chair.
Very well. Let me give the member for Funyula. Member for Funyula.
Chair, the import of this amendment is to bring stability in the sugar industry and probably drive towards minimum return for a farmer in the sugar industry. And also, Honorable Chair, as we have seen the issues of the skyrocketing prices of fuel, we need to have a stabilization fund to stabilize the prices so that either party, be it the consumer, be it the producer, does not suffer undue price hikes. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Let me have the member Kiminini. I can see we have a lot of interest on this. Yes, member.
Thank you, Chair. Like other crops, this is a provision for this stabilization fund, which will add value in the industry, Madam Chair, and particularly the 45% that goes on infrastructure. We've seen a lot of destruction of these trucks when they are carrying sugar, and many members of parliament who have tried to improve their roads, particularly in their respective constituencies, Madam Chair, you find that the 45% allocated will add value in terms of maybe improvement of the roads. But however, Madam Chair, when we leave it Cabinet Secretary plain, is it Cabinet Secretary in charge of agriculture, or is it Cabinet Secretary in charge of treasury? At times that clarity, it is very, very important. At times it has been abused. So how I wish that that clarity will have been there. And the usage of the word may. We've been in this country, Madam Chair, the usage of word may is discretionary. And at times it can give room to be abused, whereby the Cabinet Secretary, whoever is in charge, might not at any given opportunity even consult the board. So how I wish as we move forward, we think through and see, shall we say Cabinet Secretary may or shall? Because this issue has been happening on the floor of the House, whether consultation in concurrence or not in concurrence. And because these words are being used here, as we move forward, maybe we can think through and see how these words can be cleaned. Otherwise, I do support. It is important that we must have this. It will help in ensuring the minimum return to the sugarcane farmer. I thank you.
I'm seeing, of course, I must appreciate that this bill has a lot of interest, and the public must understand this, the lawmaking process. The member for Dineret, Kibiwati Meli.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, the import of this amendment is very, very, it will actually impact the farming community in this country, and more so, especially on the road network, especially on farm applications. And I want to support Honorable Wamalwa, especially on that clause. We are actually supposed to make it a mandatory that the bill we have to make it shall, not it may, Chair. So that by the end of the day, the Cabinet Secretary is bound by law, not a choice. I thank you, Honorable Chair. Yes.
Well, let me give it to the member for the nominated member. Honorable Semi, I can't see you on the request list.
Chair, I have a problem with the first part of the amendment when it says that the imported levy on domestic sugar and 10% of CIF value. I think the chair has to explain to us the economic justification of this amendment, given that 10% of CIF of imported sugar is still going to make it easy for importers of sugar to bring sugar into this country. So it is not helping us. If you compare that against Honorable Omunyinyi's proposal, he has left it open so that in times where there is too much imported sugar, then the Cabinet Secretary can charge a higher percentage of the levy. So I think the chair has to justify to this House the economic justification of the 10% on imported CIF value of sugar.
Let me hear from the member Wamunyinyi Wafula. Good comments.
Thank you very much, Chair. We all supported this amendment when we had discussion with the committee. But I think this question of may and shall could have been an oversight on the part of the clerking team, maybe typo, because we agreed. Even in our discussion during winnowing, we agreed on this one, Madam Chair. So this should be correct, and then we proceed. Thank you.
So that is on record to be corrected. That is from the chair.
Thank you very much. I think that will be corrected. That should be done. That it shall be the government secretary shall, in consultation with the board. I think that is in order.
The chair is in admission.
That is in order. And then I just wanted to also add something about opening, where the honorable member said that we should leave it open. We've seen the challenges that have faced the sugar sector, and I think leaving it open will not help us. And it's also time we also face and see how we can help the farmers.
Very well. Let me give to the member. Let me have Nikal first. Honorable Chris Omala, you don't rise. Let me hear Nikal, then I give you your points before I make a...
Chair, there is a small point which I think is important. It's arising from what Honorable Wundo was saying to stabilize the income for farmers. A says the 15% shall be applied for the board for income, or I'm unhappy with or because of what we have just seen with the petroleum levy, where actually the money was used for something else. Here we are actually saying it is the income for the board, and the board may then choose whether to stabilize the farmers. But it's more important because under B, the board is also still getting some money. So A is giving them the option to use that money for stabilization for the sugar growers, while B actually gives them their money. My suggestion is probably we need to remove income 4 and just say to the board for price stabilization for sugar growers.
Very well. Before I visit, please allow me to put the question, which is a clause 18. Members, clause 18 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as the opinion say aye? And as many as the court of opinion say nay? I now put the question, which is a clause 18, as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as the opinion say aye? And as many as the court of opinion say nay? Our members, now the chair is in order. Order, Chris Omalo. Order. I'll give you, yes. Now that the chair now is in order, allow me, as a matter of procedure and for record purpose. Order, members. I put the question, and please, as a matter of procedure, members, you can hear me. As a matter of procedure and record, which is a clauses 4, 5, 10, 14, 15, 16, and 18 be part of the bill as amended. Will as many as the opinion say aye? And as well contrary opinion say nay? Honorable Nafokolo, I know sugar industry, yes?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I was voted for by farmers. And anything that touches on cane farmers, Madam Chair, we cannot sit and wait. The issue on clause 18 is very important, especially the movement of figure 10%. We should allow the movement of figure 10% to the cabinet secretary. Now that the chair has considered the use of may to shall, let us allow the volatility of the 10% be not, the minimum should be 10, but allow the CS to move upwards with that percentage, Madam Chair. So it's important that we now recommit that. Now that we voted on it, we recommit it so that, Madam Chair, we can now look at it thereafter.
We hear you, member for Navakola, we hear you, and you know the process of the House. Let me hear from Chris Wamalo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the Committee of the Whole House is the heart of lawmaking.
Very well.
And when it comes to clause 18, 1A, whereby we had an opportunity to have discussed and agreed the word shall, and such a mistake maybe was done by design. How I wish that the chairman can move even an amendment right now so that we amend the word may to shall. Because we are likely, many times we've passed laws here, they go to government printers and you see the main mistake, or you allow us to recommit at an appropriate time, Madam Chair.
Very
I
well,
thank you.
Honorable Chris Wamalwa. Thank you, the member for Nafokolo. Members, you know very well the procedure of the House. Honorable Chris Wamalwa, you are at liberty to recommit clause 18. And the House will take a vote on the same. Yes, and you know you are standing orders very well. As a chair, I may not have a lot. Yes, the Honorable Osoti. Now that you have already put
Madam
the
Chair,
clause
as
18
you
and it has been
recommit
taken-
clause 18, I also wish clause 15 to be
I
recommitted.
am not saying we are recommitting. You must follow the process and procedure of the House. Recommit or... Yes, let me have the member for Mumia Assist.
Yes.
I know sugar is...
Thank you,
yeah.
thank you, Madam Chair. Madam
Yes.
Chair, I am really grateful for what I'm hearing from members. How I wish they would have been there when we were doing the winnowing. Madam Chair, why this clause is made is because we, as a country, we have signed international agreements. And the CS must act in line with the international agreements that we have signed. Because if you looked at COMESA, there is an aspect of imposing tax that then will deny other countries from doing fair trade. Therefore, that's why we used the word may as opposed to the word shall. Thank you, Madam Chair. Shall is conditional.
Other members, I really hear you, but where I sit, members, you know the procedure of the House. If it's a recommittal, you know how to do it. So you know how to do the recommittal to the same. And now we pass laws and the public is watching, is that we must take a vote on the same. So allow me put a question to clause 18. Before I do that, there's an interest. You know, members came here to represent the others. Yes, Honorable Member.
I think just a matter of correction and addition on clause 18. We come from this sugar belt, and as mentioned on 18(7)(d), the 45% shall be applied for infrastructure development. I want to add the word maintenance, development, and because you can develop and you don't maintain. We've had a lot of infrastructure problem, so we should have the word maintain there as well. Develop and maintain. Yes.
Very well. Those are the proposed amendments that you can still make. Of course, we had already put the question to clause 18. At my discretion, that's just to give you just to highlight. But other members, just as a matter of advice and information, you can still recommit your clauses. What matters is the House to take a vote on the same. The chair may not decide. So, next clause.
Clause 19.
I propose a question which that clause 19 be part of the bill. We have no amendment to clause 19, and I put the question which is clause 19 be part of the bill. Honourable members, will as many as this opinion say aye? And as many as contrary opinion say nay? Members, the ayes have it. Let's close.
Clause 20 and 21.
I propose a question which that clause 20 and 21 be part of the bill. Again, we have no proposed amendment to clause 20 and 21, and I have moved to put the question, which is clause 20 and 21 be part of the bill. Members, as many as this will say aye, and as many as contrary say nay, there is have it. Next clause.
Clause 22.
I propose a question which is clause 22 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by the chair. Chair, please try to be brief.
22.
We are on clause 22, Chair.
Okay. Thank you. I beg to propose, as is on the order paper, clause 22, that the bill be amended by deleting clause 22.
I propose the question, members, that is clause 22 be amended as proposed by the chair, and that's a deletion. So deletion be
maybe I could-
deleted.
the
So
just-
I get to the member for Tinderet.
Do I do the justification?
Yes, yeah, please, chair, be fast a bit.
Aye. The justification for deletion, clause 22, so to give power to the board to invest in surplus money in the securities. The committee is of the view that the power to invest surplus money by state corporations has been a source of inefficiency in service delivery in the country. State corporations have been keen to invest funds instead of rendering the services to the Kenyans first. Thank you.
So with that import, as proposed by the chair, the amendment, let me give to the member of Togaren. The member for I can see a lot of
Chair,
interest. We will
Chair,
all speak to this.
I support
We
that
will all
amendment.
speak to these members. Please let us be patient a bit. We'll speak
I
to
support
this
that amendment, Chair, because historically, the previous sugar board is in record, having lost several million, hundreds of millions of money by depositing in the collapsed Eurobank. So we should actually curtail this kind of behavior. In fact, if the board has got a levy to have a fund, this fund is supposed to be utilized by the sugar sector. Where are they going to get surpluses from? If they create surpluses, it will mean that they are not actually delivering the service. So actually, we should not give them any leeway to invest that money in anything. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Very well. The member for Tinderet.
Honorable Chair.
Member, it's a very critical bill.
Honorable Chair, I support this amendment, and I think as members of our Agriculture Committee, the honors of the board is to look on farming issues, not investment, not on securities, not on any other. And I think Honorable Munyinyi has just, Honorable Member for Tongaren has just put it. It is a loophole that will make directors to siphon money from farmers. I support that, Honorable Chair.
Let me hear, before I give the move of the bill, Honorable Munyinyi, I will still give you time because we are here to make the law. Honorable Sangok.
Honorable Chair, we have the Transmara sugar belt, and when this board is supposed to serve farmers, sugar farmers to be specific, again investing this money to what God knows what. You know, they can even decide to invest in a bank that they know will collapse next week because they have a hidden agenda with proprietors of a certain bank. Honorable Speaker, for me, that one is not possible at all. They should only invest back to their farmers.
Noted for the debates. Let me have the member for Madera West. Member for Madera West, the Honorable.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Speaker, Madam Chair. I think I stand also to support this deletion of that clause because from experience, boards have invested money outside their core businesses, and ultimately some of those investments became personal investments for some of the boards who have stayed there for years on end. And therefore, from that experience, and having lost a lot of money from the farmers before, we should not allow this to continue anymore, and therefore I support and we delete that section.
Let me have the member for Kimilili. The member for Kimilili, the Honorable.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I support these amendments. It's a very important amendment because most times when the auditors go to audit mismanagement of such funds, if they have been given a leeway to invest elsewhere, they will create so many English around where that money has gone. So this amendment is going to ensure that this fund only goes for the intended purpose, developing the sugar sector in this country, Madam Chair. I support this amendment.
Very well. I see a lot of interest on this. Honorable Joshua Kituni, the member for Cherogene.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I support the proposal by the Chair. Madam Chair, I want to give you an example of KDDA. The reason why we have all the KDDA going down, the farmers have suffered, it is because they've got several holdings, private holdings, where they took the money from the farmers and they went invested, Madam Chair. And then, Madam Chair, deliberately they mismanaged. So then they can go up on sale and they go and buy most of these holdings, Madam Chair.
So do you support, you don't support?
Madam Chair, I support.
You support very
Thank
well.
you, Madam
Let us
Chair.
be brief on members. Let me have the member for Funyula. The member for Funyula.
Chair, while it might be the vogue to support the amendment, that's the deletion of the particular section, but let's paint a very practical situation. The board will collect funds. It will not expend those funds immediately. There will be a time lag between the funds when it's collected and when the funds are expended. Keeping that money in the bank is even more riskier than putting that money in government securities, which are gilt-edged and have got zero risk of failure to recover the money. We need to rethink about it. It might be popular. We might be driven by historical fear. By the fact of the matter, keeping billions and billions sitting and idle in an account is very tempting for the mandarins to steal the money.
Very well.
Putting in government securities is a safer way to protect these funds. I submit, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Members, I can see a lot of interest. Let me have the nominated member, Hotsoti Godfrey. Just a comment, please, before I put the question.
Madam Chair, I want to concur with what Honorable Undo has said, to say that if you look at the amendment, if we look at the proposal in the bill, Treasury will give the approval. Previously, there was no approval from the Treasury. So I think that is a very important point, that we allow the board to invest this money, but with the Treasury approval. We have had cases where boards have been allowed to sit on the money, like Communication Authority under the CIF. The money is sitting there, billions of money doing nothing. In fact, it's earning interest for board
Very well.
members.
Your point is noted. Honorable Barasa, please put your mic off. Thank you. There's a different view from the member, Honorable Wanyonyi.
I quite disapprove this because the bill, if you look at this Gazette notice,
You are not supporting the amendment?
I know that amendment I support.
What do you have to do? Honorable?
All I'm saying is that I think this must be deleted because already the Treasury
you're already debating.
Yes.
You're already debating.
So therefore, I support.
You already supported before, so you already debated. Please, members, let us observe the procedures of the House. The member for Kandui now, please, the sponsor of the bill. Please make your comment and I put the question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, initially, in the original draft of the bill, we thought this would have catered for surplus funds, where we have funds that cannot be expended immediately, and with the approval of Treasury, the board would then invest the funds in securities, government, Treasury bonds, and so on. But, Madam Chair, I have since been convinced by colleagues, the committee and the colleagues, given past experiences, let the funds that are available be utilized to the farmers, so that you sustain and help
Very
the
well.
progression of. I therefore support this amendment.
You are already
Madam Chair.
convinced by the committee, and thank you, the honorable member. And members, again, as a matter of procedure, you know how to do the right thing. Members, allow me put the question of court of such a debate, which is that clause 22 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as of opinion say nay? The ayes have it. On clause 22, members, I put the question, which is clause 22 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as of opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 23,
I propose the question, which is clause
24, and 25.
Very well. I propose the question with the clause 23, 24, and 25 be part of the bill. Members, we have no proposed amendments to the clauses, and I therefore move to put the question, which is clauses 23, 24, and 25 be part of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of opinion say nay, members, the ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 26,
I propose the question, which is a clause 26, be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment, the chair. Please move your amendment
Thank you.
and justification.
Thank you very much, Chair. I beg to move the proposal as in clause 2 as it is in the order paper.
Clause 26, not 2, chair.
Yeah, clause 26 as it is in the order paper, that the bill be amended by deleting the clause 26 and substituting therefore the following new clauses. 26(1). All sugar millers and importers shall ensure that all sugar produced locally or imported into the country meets A, safety and quality standards as set by the body for the time being responsible for the setting standards. B, safety and health standards for food handlers as set by the body for the time being responsible for public health. And C, environment issues as set by the body for the time being responsible for the environment. Then 2, a person who contravenes the provision of subsection 1 commits an offense and shall be liable upon conviction.
Very well. With the import, members, allow me propose a question, which is a clause 26B amended as proposed by the chair. I see the mood of those.
There is continuation, Madam Chair. I think there is A, fine not exceeding 10 million shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 7 years or to both. And B, the court may, where a person is convicted for an offense, make a further order that the person's license be withdrawn. Thank you.
Very well, Chair. This is a house of record. You must ensure that you're on record, otherwise you know the lawmaking process.
And then just the justification justification is Amendment 6 to prescribe safety standards that millers ought to comply with. Thank you.
I now propose a question, which is a clause 26B amended as proposed by the chair. The mood of the House that I put the question. Honourable members, Honourable Nyikal, you want to?
It sounds trivial, but the amendment is talking of safety and health standards for food handlers. We are then just talking of food handlers. Is that what we mean, or for food and food handlers? But what the board says is food handlers. So the standards are set for food handlers. So what practically means is then the food, the people who are handling the sugar are the people who will be tested. But what about the health standards for the sugar itself?
Give the, and this is very important. Honorable Member Foka Ndui, Honorable Monyinyi Wafula, you want to?
Madam Chair, to address that, if you look at 1 in the proposed amendment, all sugar millers and importers shall ensure that all sugar produced locally or imported in the country meet safety and quality standards as set out. So that question is addressed, Madam Speaker. We also have agreed that this amendment should go through, and I support, Madam Chair.
Very well. With that comment, of course, I know the honourable member has heard. Members, please, for us to be able to move fast. Honourable Member for Tinderet, I wanted to put the question, please. Can you just make a comment?
No,
I know we have a lot of interest in this.
I just wanted to bring to the attention of Honourable Nyikal that it is actually the sugar itself.
You know the process. Honourable Chair. Honourable Member, you know the process. Honourable Member Nyikal, do you want to be informed? You should seek for information.
That 1A, the safety takes care of the sugar, and the second one now takes care of the handlers as well.
Both of you could not be absent. Just finish your comment as I put the question, Honourable Member for Tinderet. Just summarize it. I put the question.
The amendment, Chair, is quite okay because
a matter of procedure,
it has come to our attention that at times importers bring in raw, unhealthy, and poisonous products in the name of sugar.
Very well.
So that one actually, when we put this, it will actually put a stop to that, especially on raw sugar. Thank you.
As a matter of procedure, members, if you want to get information, you must inform. There's a point of order in your standing orders that you can seek to get information or to inform a member or members. But I think we are doing very well. It's a very important bill. Then I put the question, members, please, let me put the question, which is that clause 26, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as the say aye? And as my contrapin say no? The ayes have it. Let's close.
Clause 27.
Members, I propose a question with the clause 27 be part of the bill. Honorable Chairperson, you have an amendment to this? You have a proposed amendment to this, Chairperson?
Clause 27.
Clause 27.
Thank you, Chair.
Clause
27. We have. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. We have. I beg to propose clause 27 as it is on the order paper, that the bill be amended by deleting clause 27 and substituting therefore the following clauses. 27.1. The board shall ensure, subject to such regional and international trade agreements to which Kenya is a party, that all sugar importers into the country are subject to all the prevailing import duty, taxes, and other tariffs. 2. Despite subsection 1, the board shall ensure that.
Chairman, Honorable Chairperson, of course,
Yes.
in the interest of time and the members,
Yes.
now I know every member, and most of them have the order paper. And again, our computers we have online in the parliament. You can just say as per the order paper. And in your justification of the import of your amendment, you
Thank
can
you.
just summarize. So that
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank
So
you.
I think since I'd proceed, I can just go direct to the justification. Thank you. The justification.
But you must state that as in the order paper.
Yeah.
Yes,
My
it's out of
justification,
record.
as in the order paper, to propose amendment clause 27. the ju-
Chairman,
Okay.
say your proposed amendments as per the order paper,
Thank you.
and then now you can justify or give us the import, just in a summary.
Thank you. I beg to
Very
propose amendments as in the order paper, clause 27, that the bill amends by deleting clause 27 and substituting therefore with the following clauses. The justification for the amendment is that the amendment seeks to limit imports to when it is necessary only upon approval by the board. Thank you.
Very well, members, I propose a question, of course, with that input from the chairperson, which is that clause 27 be amended as proposed by the chair. There's no interest to this, and I put the question. You have an interest, honorable member?
Madam Chair, I support the amendment, but maybe at the committal stage, I'll propose that something is done to do a further amendment, because I would wish that when we are talking about the importation be limited to the deficit, that is in subclause 2A, we should include also the word sugarcane, because sugarcane is also imported from neighboring countries, and it affects sugarcane farming in this country. We also want it to be limited to the deficit. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Very well. Members, I put the question, which is clause 27, be amended as proposed by the chair. Members, as many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to the clause, which is clause 27, as amended be part of the bill. Members, as many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary say nay. The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 28.
I propose the question, which is clause 28, be part of the bill. Members, we have no amendment to clause 28. I therefore move to put the question, which is clause 28, be part of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 29.
I propose the question, which is clause 29, be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by the chair. Chair.
Thank you. Clause 29. I beg to propose, as it is on the order paper, clause 29, that clause 29 of the bill be amended as subclause 3. Subclause 3. A, the paragraph C, by inserting the words in
Just justify in a summary your,
clause 29.
and that is what we call the import of the.
As per the order paper, sorry.
The import of the amendment, Chair.
Sorry. So I beg to propose as it is on the order paper, clause
29.
29. Aye, let me look for the justification. Can't see it here. Oh, close 30.
Please give the chair time.
Just give me
to-
time.
Give the chair
Hakuna?
time. Chair, you are protected. I must protect you.
And
I
can't-
must protect you. Are
I
protected,
think this
Chair.
was also missed out. I'll have to clarify that I'm not seeing the justification here of clause
You're not
29.
seeing-
Please. 29, it's not there. I have 30, unless there's a mix-up somewhere.
The justification is very
Yeah.
important, Chair. Thank you.
Just, yeah, we'll
No.
come back to it. Just give me a minute.
No, we can't do that. Please just look for the justification. Just look for the
No, there's a mix-up
justification.
here.
Why are we amending clause 29 as you are proposing the chairperson, agriculture and livestock? Just, we give you time. Please, can we give the chair time? It's really a long, long, long bill.
I need to check on this. It's not, I think there's a mix-up here. Where is the clerk? In fact, he was supposed to be here. But I'm not. It's like it was left out.
The clerks are here.
What your clause 29? So it's here.
Chair,
Just
you are
support-
protected. Please consult
Aye,
the
just
clerks
support
are
as I
here
get the-
for noting. And the committee members are here also.
Please just.
Honorable Meli.
Can you do it as I?
Can you give him the, yes. No, he's doing very well. The chair is doing very well. Just give him the,
It's in the statement.
yes.
The
Oh, no, he's
committee-
speaking on behalf of the committee members. He's speaking on behalf of the committee members. Please give him ample time. Honorable Meli, you cannot do the work of the chair. You cannot do the work of the chair.
29. Hii inatafuta 29.
Please, Malwa.
The justification is to include other stakeholders in the industry.
So on 29, you are
Yes.
justifying that you wanted to include, the proposed amendment is to include other stakeholders in the industry? Then let me propose the question. Honorable Chris Amalwa, as a matter of procedure, must propose the question, then now you can speak to this. Honorable members, I propose a question, which is that clause 29 be amended as proposed by the chairperson, agriculture and livestock. Yes, Honorable Chris Amalwa, now you can speak to this.
Yeah, thank you. Madam Chair, as we said earlier, when it comes to the Committee of the Whole House, this is the heart of legislation. And the Chair has mentioned that this amendment is a matter of issues of inclusivity. But when you look at the words, because justification are subject to the words that you are changing. Because here, for instance, you've said that you delete the word impose, appearing after the words the board, and substituting therefore with the word enforce. The two words, in terms of the context, when you say inclusivity, it does not add up, Madam Chair, unless there's still some confusion.
Very well.
Yeah, absolutely. So they need some more specificity as far as the issue of justification is concerned.
Honorable
Madam
Chair, very well, Honorable Chris. And this is a very important process of the lawmaking. Before
Chair,
Chair, you
can
before you respond to that, can I give to Honorable Member for Tinderet, just to make a comment? Members, we must move
Yes.
a bit fast.
Thank you, Honorable
On
Chair.
clause
Honorable
29.
Honorable Chair, the import of this amendment is actually to make clarity on agreements made between the grower, the producer, and the miller. So you realize that there are certain issues that will come into play, Chair, as the farmer himself, who is a grower, is entering into an agreement with the miller. So that if in the event the miller is going to undercut the farmer, the board has the power to impose and enforce the law so that it will be in the interest of the farmer. In clause C, Honorable Madam Chair, by the words imposition, paragraph C, by deleting the words imposition appearing at the beginning of the paragraph and substituting the word, therefore the word enforcement. Actually, Honorable Chair, this one is actually to ensure that the agreement that has been entered between the farmer and the miller and the grower is respected and the board acts as a regulator. So this amendment is quite in order. I support.
Of course, I will still give the chair the last one so that you can clarify to Honorable Chris Omalo on the same. Can I have the nominated Osoti Godfrey? I can see you all need to make a comment on this.
No, Madam Chair, I didn't want to speak to this.
You did not want to speak to this.
I think I pressed by
Member
mistake.
for Funyula, just a comment on this.
Yes, Chair, the amendment is a composite amendment, so to speak, involving several subsections, and hence the issue of pricing, as we'll see under the pricing committee, involves consultation with the stakeholders. It has nothing to do what my colleague from Tanzania was trying to insinuate, that it was out of context. It's clearly relating to areas that require consultations, stakeholders, where we are giving the board the powers to enforce, and we are giving the board the powers of general enforcement. Thank you, Chair.
So you support. Anyway, that was just a comment. It was not a time for you to. The member for Nambale, let's have Bunyasi John, the Honorable John Bunyasi.
Madam Chair, sorry, I did not know if I'm going back at all, but it's not just English here, it's also the issues that have been underlying this whole thing, the sugar industry. Some of the stakeholders, including the millers, have been some of the biggest problems and stumbling blocks, even to agreed formulae. So that consultation of stakeholders, I think, needs to be a bit more specific, but it isn't. So I think passing it as it is, we may be, in fact, introducing even further complications.
Mm-hmm. Very well. Members are noting for their voting. The member for Matayos. The member for Matayos, Honorable Odanga.
Proceed.
Makoha.
Let's proceed.
You must be on record. You've caught my eye. The member for Matayos. If you have nothing to say, you can still be on record.
I have no desire to make further comment on this.
You are not decided to make further comment on this. Good to be on record. The member for the last one now to speak to this. The member for Kandui. Just a comment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Chair. This amendment is touching on very important clauses in this bill. They are to do with agreements, even agreements to do with pricing. So they are not, they are not just amendments that we want to brush about or that are not well thought. Madam Speaker, first it takes away rather it takes away the need to ensure that the board consults, that it is given power to act without consulting. I think this is what is coming out clear, Madam Chair.
Very well.
So given the importance, I thought there would have been consultation also, but because of the need to ensure compliance and to ensure that farmers benefit, where decision is taken that favors farmers, I am supporting this amendment, Madam Chair.
Very well. The member for Kandui, the Honorable Wamunyinyi. Members, please allow me put the question to this after the debate, which is at clause 29 be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as of this will say aye, and as many as have been say nay. The ayes. I put the question that the global question, which is at clause 29, as amended, be part of the bill. Members, will as many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 30.
I propose a question that clause 30 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by the chair. And now I think
Thank
now members, we can move a bit faster.
I thank you, Madam Chair. I beg to propose as it is on the order paper, clause 30, that the clause 30 of the bill be amended. Justifications. This is to ensure the rights of growers are safeguarded where the public milling company is privatized. Thank you.
And with that, important members, I propose a question, which is a clause 30 be amended as proposed by the chair. I see no proposed amendment or interest to speak to clause 30, and I therefore, yes, Honorable Member for Tongaren, Honorable Simiyu, Eseli, Daktari.
Chair, I must admit I'm not a financial expert, but the issue of privatized, then you say 51% shareholding by the public, then is that privatized? I'm looking at that and seeing we might defeat the privatization process itself, because I don't think if I have money to invest in any of these factories, and I'm only limited to 49%, whether I'll be interested. So I think, and then even the directorship, if I'm the one, the investor there, and I'm limited, I have to kowtow to the 51% shareholder, then it's not privatized really. So I think we need to be careful that we don't defeat the whole purpose of privatization, given the fact that the government has failed to run these mills. It's a fact. The government has failed. So if we are going to go privatization, then we might be shooting ourselves in the foot with this kind of thing.
Very well. For the clarification of the member of Tongaren, I'll give the chair or member for Tinderet just to make a comment. Yes, member, just a comment on the same. It's important for members as they take their votes to be satisfied with the import of the whole amendment. Yes, Honorable Member for Tongaren. Honorable Member for Tinderet.
Chair, I think the amendment of this clause is quite very clear. It is on a marginal note that the rights of growers in a privatized company. And on the same note, Chair, I think the issue that has been raised, especially on 51% shareholding, is actually on state-owned mills that have turned private. It is not actually on a wholly owned private mill. You can't actually put a 51% shareholding on an individual's 100% owned mill. It is actually on state-owned, which have been privatized. I think I rest my case there. Honorable. Thank you.
Yes. Chair, probably the import of the amendments, first of all, in the parent bill and the amendments here, is, pardon? No, I'm not a member of the committee, but I attended the winnowing session.
Thank you very well.
Yeah, I attended the winnowing session, so in my, more or less, I own some of these amendments as a group.
Very well.
Chair,
Very well.
the import of the amendment is basically to make a policy statement that since the sugarcane farmers are the main sufferers in the event of any mismanaged company, in the event any publicly owned company is being privatized, we give our local farmers 51% shareholding, then the rest can be taken up with anybody else. It's a policy issue to empower our farmers, because they are the owners of the sugarcane, they are the owners of the land, they must benefit from their sweat and their hard labor.
Very well. And members, it's also good for me to inform you. Yes, the chair, you're the, I'll give you time to just make a statement the same. Members, some of the amendments or part of the amendments that we are doing today arose from the winnowing process, which is understanding order number 131. It's good to revisit. Let me give a comment to Authority. Honorable, I know you're the carrier of the bill.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Honorable
this amendment is very fundamental. I think it is telling us about the experiences we have had with the Mumias Sugar Company, where the farmers lost ownership of that company, and they have nothing to say about what is happening now, because they don't have a voice. So any other public sugar mill that is going to be licensed, I think it is important for the farmers to have a controlling stake in that mill.
Noted, point noted. The member for Kiminini, Honorable Chris, just a comment.
Thank you,
know these are
Madam
very
Chair.
emotive,
Madam Chair, I'm seated next to
bill.
Honorable Munyinyi.
Yes.
And he explained the context, which Honorable Ososi has clearly said it.
Yes.
But looking at what Honorable Seli said, it is true. You know, when it comes to privatization, the company law is there if you have the majority shareholding. But in this case, they are saying if it's a public entity and it's going to be privatized, whoever comes in should not be given majority shareholding. But in the business of willing buyer, willing seller, my worry is unless county governments will come in or whichever government stakeholders to ensure that happens. But if government has gone into privatization and is a willing investor who want to invest in with the new technology to improve the efficiency of a plant, and it dictates that he gets majority shareholding, let's say 51%, the way Honorable Seli was saying, because this is a very delicate balance, it can negate the principle of privatization and maybe to attract other investors. But based on the context of Mumias, for purposes of the farmers, I think we support.
Your point is noted. Members, if you're raising on a point of order, I can see a lot of interest. Sugar industry. Before you, Honorable Nikal, you've not caught my eye. This one goes to the member for Kibwezi West. Honorable Patrick Musimba, let me your comment.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. Madam Chair, I think I rise to just give a caveat on this particular clause, which I think we need to be very cognizant about, and I think was being also raised by the Honorable Eseli. The minute you give our farmers, as much as we want to protect their interest, a shareholding of 51%, companies do make losses, and we could be subjecting them also to further grief. And there are also instances when in a company, there is what you call further capitalization. And this would end up having, impacts of dilution of your shareholding in lieu of them covering whatever liabilities are in place. And as one of the honorable members mentioned, if it's an issue of policy, this can be captured within the articles and memorandum of association as opposed to express shareholding as part of the conditions of privatization, as opposed to trying to limit it with shareholding percentages. So I think the House needs to be, to note that particular import. Thank you.
Yeah, mine will be brief. I think this is important. But you see, we are actually dealing with a situation that may be transient. Now we have public companies that are being privatized. But when we put law in perpetuity, it will come a time that they are all being. So it may be better to actually clarify that companies that were public and are being privatized. Because then that law just, it ends when you have finished the privatization. We are talking about 4 or 5 companies. Do we put a law for that? So I think maybe the chair
Members
can
will
look
take
at
a vote on the same. From where I sit as a chair, I may not have a vote. Member for the Honorable Munyasi, Nambale.
Sorry. This is a very fundamental principle that we are dealing with. Now, we need to be clear on this one. The example of Mias also has a lesson for this. They had a shareholding. I think initially it was 30%, perhaps more. But because of the principle, the MP, Honorable MP from Kibwezi East.
I am the member, but where is it?
Allowed by
I'm the member for Kibwezi East. The member is Kibwezi West.
My good friend, Mr. Kusimba.
But it's good to note my constituency also.
That's right, just in case you change positions. That's a very important principle. The farmers were disgruntled because their shareholding dropped by a fundamental amount. And then they see the value of their shares dropping. They want to get rid of them. And collectors, let's call them aggregators, came along and bought out those shares and essentially the farmers got disenfranchised. But it's a basic economic principle. You can't force someone to hold on to an asset that they are losing. So we have to find another way. Some people had suggested that maybe we should have a trust for the farmers. So it's so collective, the individual farmers can't make the decision get in or out.
Very well.
If we do it like this, we'll have the same problems. And those aggregators...
So are you supporting the amendment or you're
no,
not
I don't support it. As
You're
it
not
is, it's
supporting
not
the
going to be...
amendment.
It won't have the effect we want to have. And it will have the
Yes.
outcome that Dr. Sely has said. Why should be somebody who's putting in 49% be interested with that kind of control?
Very well. It's also debate, and of course, we always take a vote on every clause. Can I give the Honorable Washiali Mumias is the last one, then I put the question. Honorable, then we can have the one of the bill.
Thank you,
That's a
Madam.
comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, when Mumias was being privatized, farmers were given opportunity to buy 5%. They did that for 3 years, and they could not manage because they could not raise that amount of money. Madam Chair, I think let us help companies that want to be privatized to do that smoothly, because many farmers, if they were to be asked to raise 49%, it will take a long time, because many of these companies are worth billions of money. And for farmers to raise billions of money, it becomes a very big challenge. Therefore, Madam Chair, we need to be careful with this amendment.
Very well. It's for you to take a vote on the same. The member for can do it, just a comment before I put the question.
Yeah, I think, Madam Chair, we
Yes.
need to get the facts clear. What is before the House is not largely what members have commented about.
So you want to make a clarification?
What is before the House is an amendment to clause 30, which seeks to delete the marginal note and substitute thereof with the following: the right of growers in a privatized company. This is what we're talking about.
It's point of information. Can you
I
inform
think
the
it's-
members?
it-
You want to,
it-
you
it
want
is
to
the
inform,
correction. It is
you want
not-
to inform the House?
That is exactly, Madam Chair,
Yes.
what we are looking at and what we're going to vote on, not anything else.
You want,
At B, Madam Chair, is by deleting the word milling, appearing after the words directors, and substituting thereof of privatized companies. Privatized companies, just, I think, is merely giving an express, a classification, I mean, clarification that this has ceased to be public. It's gotten privatized. And it's not therefore represented by
Okay.
directors elected by farmers or those appointed in a public farm.
not it. You know, we
So-
are representatives of the people. I know most of the members. Thank you, the member for Bandui for such clarification.
Members have been talking about percentages and so on, which is not before the House.
Very well, members and members, we all represent people, and of course I can see the interest for the sugar zone. On clause 30, the proposed amendment, we are proposing to delete the marginal notes and substituting therefore with the following: note A, the rights of growers in a privatized company. And of course on B, in paragraph B, we are deleting the word milling, which is appearing after the words directors of, and substituting the words privatized company. So with that input that has been given by the chair, members, I put the question, which is that clause 30 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of this been say aye? And as many contrary please say nay? The ayes have it. On the clause 30, members, I now put the question, which a clause 30 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of the opinion say aye? And as many as of contrary say nay? The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 31.
I propose a question which the clause 31 be part of the bill. In clause 31, we have a proposed amendment. Chair, please move your amendment. And it's very important to give the right import so that members, we can move fast. Now we're going to move a bit fast with the right import.
31.
We are on clause 31. You have
thank you,
proposed amendment to clause 31, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Clause 31, I beg to propose clause 31 as it is on the order paper, that the bill be amended by deleting clause 31.
I propose is a deletion. I propose the question, what is the import of the deletion?
Sorry. It has been taken care of the new bill part 4, the new clause. Thank you.
Can you get just a more clarification, the imports, just for members, for them to take a vote, because I'll just go to put the question.
In the new part 4A,
Yes.
we can go to part.
You are deleting clause 31, the import, why are we deleting? Just in a summary.
That 4.1.
You're on 31.
The provision is set out to the third schedule shall have effect in respect of the meetings procedure of the tribunal. That's 4, isn't it? 30? Oh, no, sorry, that is 30.
31. Why are we deleting clause 31? Just as a summary. What is
I'll
the
just say the
import?
summary. It has been taken care of by new part 4A. That's what I'm trying to
Part
get to.
4A is taking care of clause
Yes.
31.
Oh,
That
sorry,
is your-
sorry. That's all. They are not the same. Sorry, it's a mistake, eh?
Is it,
It's a mistake. Sorry.
Honorable Chair, please just get organized. We are not in a hurry. We would rather, this is a very important bill.
31.
You can see the interest by the members, and that's where we today. Yes, you must convince the members why we are deleting clause 30.
All right. Sorry.
When we make a
I
law
want to
here,
refer you to the order paper. Eh? It's saying to establishment of a sugar arbitration tribunal. Please, let's go there. 1228. 28. Let's go to 1228. I think that's it. That's what I was looking for.
so, honorable members, with
Are we
that,
together?
of course, the members can comment during their contribution to this. Honorable Chairperson, your proposed amendment on clause 31 is deletion of the same clause.
Yes.
Allow me propose a question, because the members, of course, you need more time to check on this, the member for mayors? Members, you know, you cannot speak to the same amendment before I propose the question, but I'll give you time. Mr. Chairperson, please, can you give the import of your
Are we together?
amendment? You are
part
not
4A,
together with the
establishment of a
members.
sugar arbitration tribunal. That there will be established a tribunal to be known as sugar arbitration tribunal. Melly, can you take over there? Let the members of the committee also assist, kindly.
Chair,
members of the
before you
committee who are
assisted-
together. Yes.
Chair, before you assisted, please let me have the proposed amendment as an asset of the House. There's no way we can debate the proposed amendment if it's not an asset of the House. So I propose the question, members, for your consideration, which is a clause 31 be amended as proposed by the chair, and the indication is that it's a deletion. So I open the debate now. Honorable Nyikal,
Chair, mine will be actually a point of order and sequencing. It looks like we are deleting 31 because when we go to new part 4A, it is replacing it. But my issue is, how do we delete before we pass the other part? Because it would have looked like we pass that one first, and then this will be a sequential amendment. That's my comment, Chair.
Honorable Nyikal, you have been in this house for long. A new clause will always come after the clause 41.
But if it pass and this has been deleted,
It's up to the House to take a vote on this. If you decide to negate the amendment on clause 31, you are at the liberty to do it. Let me hear the comment, and that's why we usually have a debate arising. Let me have Honorable Godfrey Authority. Yes, members, we will speak to this. It's a very critical bill, and that's why today you can notice that we want really...
Madam Speaker,
yes.
I think the point raised by Dr. Nyikali is very crucial, because one of the things I'm asking myself is that we are deleting clause 31 and introducing a new clause altogether. Why can't we put it under clause 31 as it is?
Those are what is on record as proposed amendments by the committee. Honourable members, before I will still give the chair to clarify on the same. Let me hear from Honourable Member for Kiminini, Honourable Chris Wamalwa.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, in this House, we have the technical team, the clerks, and there is normally a procedure of amendments. For instance, Madam Chair, and I've been an active member when it comes to the Committee of the Whole House, unless there's a proper justification by the chairman why we are deleting 31 in totality. Because really, if there is some clause 31 we want to improve on it, we amend it. But in this case, we are deleting it in totality and coming up with another new clause in totality, and all of them are talking about the arbitration tribunal. That's why members are asking, what is the justification? And this is very critical for the deletion.
Very well.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you, Honourable
unless
Member.
we are justified, if not, it should be rejected.
Very well. Can I hear from the member for Tinderet?
Thank you.
Chairperson, I'm sure you are not in
Thank you,
the interest of the members.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Honourable Chair, I think there is a fundamental issue raised, especially on procedure. But Honourable Chair, I want to bring to attention of members that as at now there is an issue which we all know that tribunals are quasi-judicial bodies. And therefore, by just bringing in the new clause, and I think what we only need to do is actually to follow it procedurally, is to ensure that the appointment of membership and the board actually is in line with the requirements of the Judicial Service Commission and appointed by the judiciary. And that is why when you go to part 4A, establishment of the Sugar Arbitration Tribunal, the committee had to look into the issues that are actually in line or in tandem with the requirement of the tribunal by the Judicial Service Commission, and at the same time, follow the procedure as laid out. And the Honourable Chair, to even add to that, if you look at the earlier one, it was not actually in line with it. So the only issue that is arising here is to ensure that the new clause is actually following the sequential order as per the standing orders of the House. I submit, Honourable Chair.
Very well. And even before you all comment on the others, I would rather just give a light or information that, again, as on the record, as a matter of procedure, Honourable Member for Tinderet, that there's no way we can go to new clause for before we deal with clause 31. So for members, it's up to you to take a vote on the same. And I think you'd rather be prepared. If you really want to convince the chair, if you want to convince the chair or members, otherwise then you have the liberty. Let me hear from the member of Togaret. The member of Togaret.
Chair, I think this is not very neat. This is not very neat. I think what we should have done, what we are trying to introduce as new clause 21A,
yes,
we should have deleted 30,
yes,
24A, we should have deleted 30, we should have deleted 31 as the chair is proposing,
yes,
and substituted with what's now being called 24A.
Correct. Now you're answering yourselves, members.
That would have been neater. That would have been neater than what we are doing now.
Now you're answering yourself. Now you can see the experienced members.
I don't know if the chair is listening.
The chair is missing.
If we could have been neater,
yes,
that we delete 31, and then we would have replaced with what is now 24A without having renamed it 24A.
The chair is consulting. Members, you can still take a vote on the same. You can recommit. You can let the chair consult with the clerks, and of course, at the end of the day, the members will take a vote. But before that, can I give the member for Funyula just a comment on the same?
Chair, as the chair continues to consult, and let me again admit, I sat in the winnowing process, and this was the thinking, and the Honorable Tindere from Tindere has very clear. The general practice now in this country is that any tribunal belongs to the Judicial Service Commission. Now here we are hostage of our own procedures. I totally agree with my colleagues that if we delete this particular clause, then the new clause, the new section that we are proposing does not go through, what happens? But then the flip side of it, if we leave it the way it is, then we pass the new clause, the new section we have talked about. What is the import of such kind of an approach? Here is a leap of faith. It's a leap of faith. We delete and hope and pray that we pass. In the event we don't pass, there's that provision of basically of recommittal. And Madam Chair, the reason is the tribunal is so critical to the sugar industry. The treatment given on it on the parent bill under clause 31 is so shallow, is so narrow, it's against the common practice now. Will not serve the purpose which it was intended to serve. That's why the wisdom of the winnowing team was to expand it, have a complete section for it, so that we can deal with all matters that requires to be dealt under that particular issue in dispute resolution, ADR, and the rest of the things. So I urge my colleagues, yes, we are now in a quandrum because of the procedure, but let's have a leap of faith. Let's delete, accept the amendments by the committee, and proceed to pass the amendments as contained in the new section we have introduced. Thank you.
Well, before I make my last comment and I put the question, please, Honorable Nyikali says you plead with them. This is a house of debates. Maybe you should have finished by pleading with them. As a chair, I have no votes from here. Honorable Member for Kandui, just a comment.
Yeah, Madam Chair, it is also wrong for my colleague who just spoke.
Honorable Member for Funyula, please resume your seat.
To state
the Honorable
that
Member for Kandui is abstanding.
This was not part of the
Very
winnowing.
well, thank you.
It was not part of what was agreed during the winnowing. It would not have been.
It was not part of the agreement during
It would
winnowing.
not have been on the order paper.
Yes.
Brought by the Honorable Chair of the committee. But what I want to say, Madam Chair, is that clause 31 is very clear. It provides for the establishment of tribunal, and it clearly states the person to be appointed chair of tribunal must be one that is qualified to be a judge of the High Court. Therefore, this is not an ordinary person. He's a lawyer, he's an advocate. One who can be an advocate, who can be a judge, of the High Court of Kenya. And Madam Speaker, it goes ahead to make those provisions. I have not been told why this is being deleted, so as to introduce another clause, separate, under 24A. What is it that is wrong with this clause 31? This is what I want to understand, Madam Chair.
There is a... Let me hear the member from Kibinini. This is a law-making process, and we must all be heard as we make a decision. And you cannot, today we are taking a bit long in the committee, though from the other clause we may move a bit fast. The member for Kibinini, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam
Can
Chair.
you use the next mic? Honorable Christopher Wamalwa.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honorable Undo needs to know whether an issue went through winnowing or not. When a matter comes on the floor of the House, this floor carries precedence. A committee can bring an amendment and this floor can reject. So it is upon the mover of that particular amendment, Madam Chair, to convince the plenary, and I want to agree with Honorable Wamunyinyi, unless we are convinced why the deletion. Because really, ordinarily, in terms of process, it should have been amended. And where there is inadequacy, as provided for in this clause 31, that we can put an amendment that we are doing it in line with the Judicial Service Commission, with the tribunals. Now it's a quasi-judicial. That should have been the case. But the issue of deletion and coming up with a new clause is totally in contradiction with the procedure and the process of parliament proceedings. I'm a member of that committee. And this is where the legal team, also in the Committee of Agriculture, is supposed to have advice. Because the chairman looks not well advised when coming to this. So we cannot delete this in assumption, Madam Chair, that we are going to pass a new clause 21. When you bring new clauses, the guidelines are totally different. Maybe you use your discretion, understanding order number 1, and allow the proposal so that we delete and replace. Then that one is okay. But we can't delete with an assumption that we are going to have a new clause coming in. That's not the procedure. And I want Honorable Undo to note that. Yeah, even anticipation of debate is not allowed in line with our standing orders. So we can only delete and replace with that clause that must be there. I thank you.
Very well. Members, I must thank you for your expertise in the House, but as a matter of procedure of the House, let me hear from the Chair. The Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you.
I can see the Chair now is sat next to the
Thank you,
Clerk's office.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for the members also to get to know that initially, I wanted to explain that initially the tribunal was established under the miscellaneous part of the bill. And the committee, when we were discussing or looking into this thing, through our own wisdom as members, thought it to be better to establish a substantive part 4A, which is the establishment of the tribunal. But if members feel agitated on that, we can still recommit and maybe...
If members feel agitated.
If you feel agitated about that, we recommit and then we will deal with it.
Chair, this is your proposed amendment. Chairperson, this is your proposed amendment, and we must go through the whole procedure. If it's about recommittal, he'll still bring recommittal as a matter of procedure. So, honourable members, allow me put the question. If I were you, I would have discussed with the Chair, but I don't want to get into the debates for further amendment. Let me put the question to clause 31. And then from there, you can bring your further amendment, because as far as I'm concerned, I've not received any further amendment on my desk. Please, it is up to the House to make a decision. If you want it recommittal, you know the procedure, the process. He has said you'll recommit. It's up to the House, please. It's up to the House. Honourable members, I put the question. And we are on 31. A proposed amendment on 31, which is deletion. Members, I put the question, which is that clause 31 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Members, as many as of that opinion say aye. And as many as contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now move to put the total of the global question, which is that clause 31, as amended, be part of the bill. As many as have the opinion say aye, and as many as contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Let's close.
Clause 32.
I propose a question, which is clause 32, be part of the bill. Members, we have no proposed amendment to clause 32. And now move to put the question to clause 32, which is clause 32, be part of the bill. As many as have this opinion say aye. All the members. It's the House of taking a vote. Members, I put the question to clause 32, which has no proposed amendment, which is that clause 32 be part of the bill. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as call opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 33.
I propose the question that clause 33 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by the chairperson. Please move your proposed amendment.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Madam Chair. I propose clause 30.
We are on 33, Chair.
33. I beg to propose clause 33 as it is on the order paper, that the clause 33 of the bill be amended, and I want to go direct to the justification. Justification to give more power to the to make regulations broadly by the ministry. Justification for subclause 4 to ensure the regulations are made within 1 year from the enactment of the law, of this law.
Then with that import from your proposed amendment, members, allow me propose the question, which is that clause 33 be amended as proposed by the chair. I see no interest to this, and I move to... There's interest to speak to this. Let me have the Honorable Wamunyinyi Wafula.
Madam Chair, this is also another one, and I don't like when we have agreed on something, you change it, Chair.
You had agreed already with
We
him?
We had agreed that the time allowed for the regulations to be put in place is 6 months, but now you put it to 12 months.
Are you a member of the committee?
I mean, during winnowing. That's what we agreed. Now you've changed to 12. I mean, the amendment is good.
Honorable Wamunyinyi,
Save for the...
Honorable
save
Wamunyinyi,
for
where
the
we
period.
are, it's not yet lost. It's up to the House to take a vote on it. You can bring your proposal, you can change, you can exercise your powers as a member of parliament.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think the proposal for 6 months was for Washali, if I may remember. But I think the committee members met and took a note that 6 months is too short and agreed as a committee for 12 months. This was something that was agreed, it was not changed. So I want you, Mheshimiwa Wamunyinyi, don't say we changed anything, because it was an agreement of the committee.
Thank you. The
Yes,
member
thank
for
you.
Funyula. The members are free to express themselves. The member for Funyula.
Chair, we need to go on record that that was an area that was had a lengthy debate during the winnowing meeting, and the issue is practicability. And I clearly said, Chair, I sit in the delegated legislation committee, and I know the procedure of making subsidiary legislation. Even as we stand here now, I'm almost certain 1 year is not adequate to complete the process of stakeholder engagement, public participation, and bringing forth the regulation. And that's why I'm willing to go for 1 year. It puts pressure on the regulatory making authority to move with the speed and bring the relevant regulations to the House for purposes of enactment. I think that was the issue. 6 months is not practical, Chair. We need it to be practical. Thank you.
Very well. Very well. Let me get from the member for, of course, a very common name in the sugar. And for the public, we are dealing with the sugar bill. It's very emotive. I can see members are not all of interested. The National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2019. And it's important for us to do. Well, let me have the member for Mumias East.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, indeed, it's me who had brought in this amendment. Unfortunately, this amendment is, my name is not anywhere, but I agree, Madam Chair, that when we looked at the period, because even after the enactment of this bill, there will be that period of identifying the board members. There will be elections and whatever. It will take some time. And that's why we agreed under the winnowing meeting that we change it to 12 so that we allow a proper the elections of the board members, identification of board members, so that then the board members can help in coming up with the regulations. Therefore, we agreed 12 months after the enactment of this act.
Very well. The member for Tongaren, the Honorable Dr. Simiyu.
Chair, sometimes government functionaries delay matters for no reason. So perhaps you should have stuck with 6 months. Then when the 6 months are over, the cabinet secretary will come and ask for extension. That way you put him under pressure. Otherwise, when they are not under pressure, sometimes they don't function. And the sugar industry is dire straits right now. You cannot, any day we delay with this bill, the sugar industry is getting worse. So if regulations get delayed for any reason, we'll even suffer even more. So sometimes it's good to play sort of tough with them, then that will push them to act faster.
Very well. There's this member raising the hands. We normally don't do that. We normally don't do that. He's forced to. And of course, when you are wearing a mask, we may not see you very well. The member for Kwanza? The member for Kwanza?
For Kwanza first.
Yes.
Constituency number 1.
Constituency.
I think, Madam Chair, I quite agree. Let's give this as proposed, although I was in that meeting. Let's give them 6 months so that we have put them under pressure. Because you go out there, we come from the sugar area, and there's a lot of talk about this particular. In fact, we have to better pass this today.
No.
Because we are back at home, our supporters are actually very, very, they are very uneasy about this. So I think let's put 6 months instead of 12 months.
Very well. It is up to you, the House, to take a vote on this. As a chair, I may not have a vote. Let me have the member for Mbumula now.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been wanting to speak for almost almost 3 clauses, but maybe your eye didn't catch me.
Oh, I've caught your eye.
But my proposal on this, I agree totally with Mheshimiwa for Tongaren, Dr. Esedi, that at times we have to put the government on actually task, because if we leave it open the way it is, I will propose, Chair, that we have a minimum period of 6 months and a maximum of 1 year. So if we are so specific that way, we will know exactly that they're working within a framework that is agreeable. But if you leave it open after 1 year, they will seek for an extension, definitely. That's my...
So members with that, allow me put the question, which is that clause 33 be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the global question, which is that clause 33 as amended be part of the bill. Remember, as many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 34 and 35.
I propose the question, which is clauses 34 and 35, be part of the bill. Members, we have no proposed amendments to the 2 clauses, and I therefore move to put the question, which is that clauses 34 and 35 be part of the bill. Well, as many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 36.
I propose the question, which is a clause 36, be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by Dr. Ojiambo Undo, MP.
Page 1237. My brother-in-law is 1237. Chair, I need to seek your guidance because I want to move it in an amended form. So upon the commencement of this...
We have not seen the amended form, and we may not want to allow you move from that point without the relevant officers looking at your proposed amendment.
Fine, let me move it as it is. Then will then give us guidance, because it was just a typo that we noticed much today, but we didn't have time to move the necessary changes.
Yes, because I've not been able to see it, and I'm sure the clerks would also have looked and approved by...
Upon the commencement of this act, again, typos. A person who was a member of the staff of the former Kenya Sugar Board before the commencement of the Agriculture and Food Authority Act, and current staff of the Sugar Directorate, not being under any notice of dismissal or resignation, shall upon commencement of this act, and subject to subsection 2, become a staff of the board on their current improved terms and conditions of service. 2, the pensions of the staff and the provident fund of the Agriculture and Food Authority, Sugar Directorate, shall on commencement of the act vest in the board. Chair, so I move in that format, but Chair, I just want to put it on record. There were some typos which we thought we could correct. And the typos, even on the first sentence, under 36(1), of this is repeated, which is a typo, and it was not the intention. After the word act on the second last sentence, we intended to remove and subject to subsection 2, because it has no relationship at all to number 1. So those are the tidying up issues. I'm seeking your indulgence, but if you say it's not possible due to procedure, then probably you can talk with the chair. We see how to remedy.
Order. Honorable Mwashetani.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mwashetani. Pole sana, tunaona umeumia, lakini you're out of order. Pole, umeumia, lakini huwezi ukafuka ovyo. Huwezi Very well. Please do the necessary, hata kama umeumia.
So, Chair, that's how I wanted to move it. And
You must have respect of that. Thank you, Mwashetani. Pole sana. We wish you a quick recovery. We wish you a quick recovery. Yes, honorable member for
Funyula. So,
for Funyula, thank you for your proposed amendment. Maybe I would order and also direct that the issue of typos to be looked at from the relevant, the clerk's office. If it is just mere typos, that's what we always do. So the clerk can note that if it's mere typos, it will be looked at the clerk's desk and it will be advised accordingly. So that one is always very welcome.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes. So with that, I propose the question, which is that clause 36 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Dr. Ojiambo Oundo, MP. I see no interest, and I want to put the question. The committee. Yes, Chairperson, Chairman. You want to make a comment?
Yes.
You wanted to do? Let me have the member for Yatta, the Honorable Kilonzo Mutavi, the member for Yatta constituency.
Sorry, Chair, but now that I have the mic, I wanted to contribute on an earlier matter, but now that I have the mic,
yes,
I'm totally in agreement.
Yes.
Those typos need to be corrected because they were follow-up after the winnowing session with the committee, and which should have been corrected at that stage. So rather than bring it as an amendment, I do support your position that the clerk's office
just look at
be advised accordingly.
It be advised accordingly. Best word used. The member for Navakolo, the Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I wish to indulge Dr. Oundo. His amendment is good, but the situation on the ground could be a bit different, so that he could add maybe just one word to align everything, suggesting that those members of staff who are now in AFA, but are not in the Sugar Directorate, and who are members, employees of the former Kenya Sugar Board, what are we doing about
If
them?
it's a major amendment, Honorable Wangwe, if it's a major amendment.
That is why I'm asking, I said, Madam Chair, I wish to indulge him if he feels it's okay,
Yes.
because I'm supporting his amendment, but enriching it. Because the situation, the reality is, there are those members who are not currently in the Sugar Directorate, but who are members of Kenya Sugar Board. Therefore,
Very well.
maybe he can look about
Your
it.
intentions, Honorable Wangwe, you can consult with Honorable Member for Funyula, and we are happy to direct and to know that we have a consultation room and also the chair, any proposed amendment, you always know the procedure. The member for Seme, today we moving a bit slow because of the interest that we have in the sugar bill. Just a comment, please.
Chair, my comment is, we are dealing with almost 3 members of staff, and we are making a very major decision on people who are employed. I would ask Honorable Oundo to actually be more clear on the stuff they are talking about, because there is those before the act, and then after the coming into being of Kenya Sugar Board, and those that are in authority, and that is exemplified by what Honorable Wangu is saying. So we need to be very, very clear the stuff we are talking about before we actually pass this. I seek that clarification, Honorable Chair.
Authority. Before I come to the chair, you can be the last one to speak.
Madam Chair, I support this amendment by Honorable Oundo.
Yes.
On the basis that we have those employees who are working for Kenya Sugar Board. They were taken to AFA and dispersed in various departments, which are not Sugar Board. And now we even have information that there are internal reorganization in anticipation of this bill, so that new people are employed. So what we are saying is the staff who used to work for Kenya Sugar Board, whether they are now working for Tea Directorate or whatever, they should all be absorbed in the Kenya Sugar Board.
Here, the member from Tinderet constituency, Honorable Kibi Watimeli. Honorable Kibi Watimeli.
Yes, this
Just
amendment
a comment on the same.
This amendment is quite in order, and I support it, Honorable Chair. Especially some of the staffs were experts in particular fields, especially on sugar issues. And if we are going to just move them anyhow, then it will actually impact negatively on the sugar subsector. So let those staffs go back and do their work in the expert way and proceed with the new sugar board.
Very well. Omonyinyi, just a 1 minute comment on the same, because I want to put the question on the same. I think members have had the debate.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I am supporting this amendment for 2 reasons. One, it captures the staff now currently under the directorate, which was not originally seen by the draft. Secondly, Madam Chair, it captures also the aspect of pension and the benefits. That those that have been accrued now in the directorate should be vested in the board. That will protect the workers. And I think for those 2 reasons, I support this proposed amendment, Madam Chair.
Members, with that debate, and of course with the import, the debate, I put the question to clause 36. Which is that clause 36?
You have to give me the... I think you have to give me... You forgot.
Chair, you changed your seat in the...
Sorry.
Just make a comment then.
Yeah, the committee had reservations, so I thought it would be wise to hear what the committee noticed or got to
Chair, just
to see.
make your
Thank you very
comment
much.
on this.
It is imperative to note that the Kenya Sugar Board was transited to AFA, which was Staff Assets etc. under the AFA Act 2013. The first schedule of the AFA Act provides former institution means any institution established by the repealed act or revoked legal notice exiting immediately before the appointment day and includes, for example, the Coconut Development Authority and others, which is also now the Sugar Board. So the Sugar Act 2001 was in essence repealed by the AFA. What is therefore existing and governing the former staff of the Kenya Sugar Board and AFA and transition ought to take place in that context. Transition do not only unveil beyond that which is currently existing. Amendments by Parliament should be procedural, consistent, and reasonable. The proposal in this bill under 36 has been done in the same manner that the House did the Tea Act.
Very well.
Thank you.
That is from the chair. All members, with that import, allow me put the question. It's a House to make a decision. Honorable, I put the question to clause 36. More. The member for Kwanza. Member for Kwanza. Just a 1 minute
No,
comment.
no, just a minute.
Yes, just
members.
a comment on that.
You know,
so that I put
there are
the
members
question.
who are in the AFA, and maybe they have been promoted to such a position. Now, you should just, those who are there may go to AFA, to the sugar board, but you cannot force them to go. There are those who are there, and maybe they have even gotten a better position. So it should be actually the word should be may, other than forcing them to go to the sugar board.
Very well. With that, it's a House of Debate. Members, I will put the question to clause 36. It's up to the House to take a vote on this, which is that clause 36 be amended as proposed by Honorable Dr. Ojiambo Oundo, MP. Members will, as many as of this opinion, say aye. Aye. And as many as of contrary opinion, say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question, the global question, which is at clause 36, as amended, be part of the bill. As many as of those opinions say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 37
I
and
propose.
38.
Very well, thank you. I propose a question, which is clause 37 and 38, to be part of the bill. Members, we have no proposed amendment to the two clauses, and neither will move to put the question, which is that clause 37 and 38 be part of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye. Oh, the chairman, you're not on record, and the members. It's a House of Record. Members, I put the question to clauses 37 and 38, which is that clause 37 and 38 be part of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it. Our members, because of the interest of time, we will report progress, the progress to the committee of the whole House. Can we have the mover to report progress? The mover to report the progress. The mover to report progress.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the sugar bill, National Assembly, Bill number 68 of 2019, up to clause 38, and its approval thereof with amendments, and seek leave to sit again.
Very well. Honourable members, allow me put the question for reporting, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the sugar bill, National Assembly, Bill number 68 of 2019, up to clause 38, and its approval thereof with amendments, and seek leave to sit again. Will as many as are of this opinion say aye? And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? Members, the ayes have it. Could hear one of the members. Order. Order, members, when I'm here, I'm not the chairperson of the committee, as one of the members was. Yeah, this is Madam Speaker now. Can we have the chairperson reporting?
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2019, and approved the same with amendments.
Very well. Members, I propose a question for adoption. which is that House do agree with the committee in the said report. I move to put the question, members, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? Oh, you have not moved. Chairperson, you are asleep. It's the chairperson who moved first. Let us serve as a matter of procedure. The Honorable Wamunyinyi move the agreement with the report. Honorable Wamunyinyi, please move your agreement with the report. Yes. You have it with yourself. You're already moving it to the bill.
Thank you,
The said report.
Madam Speaker. I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request the Honorable Wangwe to second the motion for agreement with the report of the committee of the whole House.
Very well. I not know that you are looking for the chairperson. That's it. The Honorable Wangwe for seconding. Honorable Wangwe for seconding the chairperson's report.
Honorable Speaker, I do second. Thank you.
You do second. Then for record members, I propose the question for adoption of the report, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I put the question, members, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. As many as of this opinion say aye. Aye. And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Honourable members.
Point of order.
Yes, Honourable, please.
Madam Speaker, you made reference to the sleeping chair. I don't know whether it was a slip of the tongue or you meant the chair was asleep.
I was waiting for the chair to report. It was not you.
But the chair doesn't sleep in the House, Madam Speaker.
Yes, because you are supposed to do as a matter of,
thank you. Correct that.
Very well. It is true. Chair, you are protected. You are so protected. He was consulting. Chair, you are very protected. It's because I, of course, expected, as a matter of procedure, to move agreement with the reports. But, of course, the owner of the bill now, it wasn't you, it is Honorable Wamunyinyi. So, yes, you are protected. Yes. Very well. Members, for the Committee of the Whole House, we have done a reporting on the same. That is in order number 10, which is the Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2019, that be moved by Honorable Wafula Wamunyinyi MP. And because of the time, in the interest of time, is in my discretion, we call the next order. We are not in a position to go to order number 11 or continue the Committee of the Whole after reporting, members. And the time being 12:59 for record p.m. This House stands adjourned until the Wednesday, that is today, 6 October 2021 at 2:30 p.m. Thank you.